listening to us on 5 Live and BBC Sounds this evening. It's spine-tingling sights and sounds. You can hear the noise. We've had a thunderous rendition of Mull of Kintyre just ahead of kick-off here, and also the huge banners that went up away to our left above the two-tiered Trent end. One long red banner that was hung down between the tiers from the Nottingham Forest fans that said, "Our red shirts, you have given us your all, and once more we give you ours in return." Pat Nevin, if you're a Nottingham Forest player, what an atmosphere to play in, to try and playing for survival, win this game. Nottingham Forest are safe.
Yeah, they are. I mean, the fans and the players have to be hand in glove in a day like today, and they clearly are. But just some panic, and there's no defence, and let's see if they can do it.
So we're underway. Nottingham Forest, knowing a win will see another season of Premier League football at the City Ground. A win would take them to 37 points. They are already out of the reach of Southampton. That would also take them out of the reach of Leicester and Everton. An early challenge on Jakub. Is it Jakub Kivior's down?
I thought it was Jorginho.
Jorginho, is it?
It wasn't the first tackle. It was almost a reaction to the first tackle. He's claiming he was stood on. We've got a replay just about to come. It was nudged over. I don't think there was anything deliberate in it though.
No surprise that Nottingham Forest are flying into the tackles. 0-0 in the early stages here at the City Ground. Another goal in the League Two playoff semi-final second leg. Carlisle, Bradford, Chris Coles.
And Carlisle are back in front. Glorious playoff drama. Ball into the box. Ben Barclay's header, completely wrong-footed Harry Lewis in the Bradford goal. And Carlisle are back in the driving seat, leading Bradford 3-2 on aggregate. 7 minutes to play.
Chris will keep us updated whatever goes on there. Winners will face Stockport in the final. Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0. Pat Nevin, what have you spotted in terms of the Arsenal team lineup? No recognised left back in the side this afternoon.
And that's why they have put Partey back to right full-back, I think. Bit of a surprise, that one. So that means you can possibly move. I'm trying to see who is on the left full-back there.
That's Kivior.
Yeah, so, and you have obviously White, Gabriel. So it's unusual. They don't like to change their system. Just one little aside to that. If you're Kieran Tierney, how are you feeling just now?
Yeah.
The whole team changed around. Players all over the place. That back line and a recognised full-back on the bench, not wanted.
Incredible noise inside the City Ground. The other thing to throw into the equation, of course, talking about the Nottingham Forest win that would see them safe. A Nottingham Forest win would also make Manchester City champions of England for the 5th time in 6 seasons tonight, without even kicking a ball this weekend. In fact, if Arsenal don't win this game, if they only draw it, Manchester City will effectively be champions. So plenty going on in terms of the permutations. Let's concentrate on the football. 2 minutes in, Arsenal all in black, playing from left to right in the first half towards the Bridgeford end. They've got Ramsdale in goal. Thomas Partey is right back, Kivior's left back. So the two centre backs are Ben White and Gabriel. Jorginho alongside Granit Xhaka in the central midfield. Saka, Ødegaard and Trossard. Trossard's in for the injured Martinelli, and Gabriel Jesus through the middle. Steve Cooper has named an unchanged starting 11 from the 2-2 draw at Chelsea last weekend. Partey's ball is up towards Jesus. He couldn't quite control it, and Lodi, the Brazilian for Nottingham Forest, goes sprinting away into the Arsenal half, plays the pass down the left. Danilo chases, sliding challenge by Partey, and it's a throw-in for Nottingham Forest, who, Pat Nevin, as I think everyone knows, have a superb home record this season.
They've grown and grown recently. The last time I was down here was for the Manchester City game. Well, Manchester City battered them for the vast majority of the game, then ran out of steam, and they could have nicked it in the end. They are so strong. They've done exactly the opposite at the start of this game for us. They've started on the front foot, trying to put pressure on Arsenal.
Throw in to the Arsenal penalty area from Niakate, flicked on by his fellow centre-back Felipe. Saka volleys clear. Ødegaard stumbles as he chests the ball down. Nottingham Forest fans appeal for a handball. Play continues. Niakate curls a hopeful ball into that Arsenal penalty area, and Gabriel Jesus is in the left-back position for Arsenal. He tries to skip his way past Morgan Gibbs-White, and he runs the ball straight out of play for another throw-in to Nottingham Forest. So, 4 minutes in, incredible atmosphere. Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0. Another throw-in coming Nottingham Forest way. Half-time in the Champions Cup final. Leinster La Rochelle. Chris Jones.
Leinster 23, La Rochelle 14. The most points ever in a Champions Cup final. It has been spellbinding. Leinster roared out the traps with 3 tries. Sheehan twice and Jimmy O'Brien. At one point they led 23-7. But the Dauncey try, and then on the stroke of half-time, Souteni for La Rochelle has kept it in the balance. Going to be a special second half. Leinster 23, La Rochelle 14 at the break.
You can catch that second half in full on 5 Live Sports Extra. Goodness me, the Arsenal defence and penalty box coming under some pressure in the opening 5 minutes here. Another Niakate long throw, and Arsenal, they just couldn't get it clear, Pat.
Yeah, and almost a brilliant half overhead kick. Gibbs White came in with the second reaction to it, but there was an overhead kick there, didn't quite catch it right there. Had Worrell caught that right from about 7 yards out, I don't think there was much that Ramsdale could have done about it. Put them under so much pressure, but usually from long throw-ins at the moment.
Steve Cooper, the Nottingham Forest manager, in a short sleeve black t-shirt, dark blue trousers, standing on the edge of the pitch in shade. He came out about 5 or 6 minutes before kick-off and was welcomed like Brian Clough, basically, out onto the touchline here. It is astonishing. It's quite something to witness and be a part of here. Saka's ball to Jorginho. Arsenal getting no time on the ball at all. They are trying to keep their very faint title hopes alive. They're going to need to win both of their last 2 games this season. Hope Manchester City lose 2 and draw 1 of their last 3. So they are pretty much trying to delay the inevitable. But while it is still possible, they will still give it everything. Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0. Jorginho's ball forward. Jesus goes tumbling in the penalty area. Looks hopefully at the referee, who this evening is Anthony Taylor. He shakes his head, and the ball is in the arms of Keylor Navas.
Hopefully, but briefly. He knew he wasn't going to get anything there. But it's interesting to see the way Forest do it. You know, when they do lose possession, and Arsenal have got good possession, they immediately fall back. They've got 5 men along that back line. They have been generally very hard to break down, particularly here.
Give you the Nottingham Forest lineup in just a second. Keylor Navas, all in bright blue, clears with his right foot. Arsenal have dealt with that, and here's Jesus just inside his own half. Bit of pace to try and get away from Joe Worrell. Great defending from the Nottingham Forest skipper. Forest turned it into a counter-attack, and here they come, screaming down the right-hand side. Gibbs White into the penalty area, gets the cross in. Nottingham Forest appealing for a handball, and Anthony Taylor says that will only be a corner.
Yeah, but I think he might have his finger to his ear at the moment, see if there's anything else. It's one of those ones, if it was given, it would be very, very harsh. It was blasted down from very, very close. Was it his arm, and was it far away from his body? Great play by Gibbs White, by the way. And by the way, it's his chest.
By the way, just a little warning for you, Pat. If you get overexcited like I did there and stand up, the seat immediately flips up behind you. I very nearly missed it on the way back down.
The chap beside you got very, very excited when Everton scored that 99th minute equaliser. Me.
Former Everton winger Pat Nevin alongside us at the City Ground, which is absolutely bouncing. And they've got a corner. Not a great delivery into that penalty area. Skiddy ball. Trossard clears with his left foot, and Arsenal can reset. Throw in for Nottingham Forest, just inside the Arsenal half on the right. 0-0.
I suspect the referee gave another free kick away before the ball even got in. I think it was Jorginho went to ground there. But it's the physicality from this Nottingham Forest side. I mean, it's so old school. Oh, he's having a word there. He must have seen that. He's seen who he's dragging back there. Odegaard. He's having a word with Odegaard.
Well, he's the Arsenal captain, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I wonder whether he's being called over, because Jorginho's being called over as well. So
Jorginho, I thought, was the man who went down. The referee's having a word with him. They have been put under a lot of physical pressure.
Yeah.
As if, Forrest has said, they won't fancy it today. They're not going to win the league. So let us show them physically where we're coming from and see if they want to keep on doing that for 90 minutes.
Arsenal last Sunday beaten 3-0 at home against Brighton. Nottingham Forest not giving them a moment's pause so far. But Arsenal on the ball inside the Nottingham Forest half. And Jorginho with his right foot finds Kivior. Kivior tries to slide one down the left. That's intercepted. Mangala for Forest in central midfield. And then the ball to try and release Lodi. Saka read it well for Arsenal. Chased back into his own half and gets it back to his goalkeeper, Aaron Ramsdale. Let's get an update on Carlisle-Bradford in the playoff semi-final second leg. Chris Coles.
We have just entered 3 minutes of additional time at the end of the second half of extra time. Carlisle United are so close. They lead Bradford 3-2 on aggregate. Ben Barclay's flicked header. Bradford, as you'd expect, throwing everything at Carlisle, and they have 3 minutes to save their season. Carlisle 3, Bradford 2 on aggregate.
Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0. This in the Premier League. 2 more Premier League commentaries to come tomorrow. If Arsenal do manage to win this game this evening, then Manchester City know a win tomorrow in our 4 o'clock commentary against Chelsea will win them the title while they are on the field of play. Massive game for Leeds as well. We've got full commentary on West Ham Leeds at 1:30 tomorrow. Goal in the WSL, Tottenham Reading, Mike Williams.
All over here now, surely, Ali. Tottenham 3, Reading 0. Reading look like they're going down. Bethany England with her second of the match for Spurs. She robbed Grace Maloney in the Reading goal and then rounded the keeper and finished brilliantly into the back of the net. It is Tottenham 3, Reading 0. This result keeps Spurs in the WSL.
Arsenal taking the sting out of the occasion here at the City ground, because while we've been bouncing around there's been lots of Arsenal possession, passing it around inside the Nottingham Forest half. Trossard almost overruns that, wins a 50-50, and it falls to Ødegaard. Ødegaard with a clipped back heel with his right boot, finds Partey. Partey plays back to the halfway line to Gabriel. What are you making of it, Pat?
Yeah, I think Arsenal, they probably expected a little bit of physicality at the start and being closed down. There's not that many teams that can keep that up for 90 minutes, and I think they want to get through this first 10 or 15 and see the energy levels begin to seep away a little bit from Forest. It's beginning to happen a little bit now. A little bit more space for Arsenal players to get on the ball.
Saka on the ball wide on the right, rolls a pass back to Partey. Partey getting regularly booed here by the home fans. Saka just scoops a pass into the path of Ødegaard. Ødegaard's forced down towards the corner flag. Lovely step over, gets him away from Niakate, finds Saka. Saka with the cutback, that's deflected, up in the air it goes. The header away is from Ryan Yates. The ball's bouncing around on the edge of the Nottingham Forest box, so crowded and quick at the moment. Ødegaard sees space, finds Trossard, plays it through to Jesus, tries to think it over Navas, and Navas off his line makes the block. Good goalkeeping.
There's so many good things in that last few moments there. I mean, you're right, the Nottingham Forest players 4 or 5 all around there, but the speed of the passing of the Arsenal players was great. And just before that, on the right hand side, there's a piece of skill from Ødegaard that was so far ahead of anything else that we've seen in this game, and it got missed in the melee.
Yeah, Niakate was properly fooled. He went totally in the other direction, and Ødegaard, as he does, he's so graceful, just glided away from him. It took the breath away, and here's Ødegaard again, chests the ball down on the halfway line, tries to lob it forward for Jesus. Jesus on his heels, so Forest play it back to Keylor Navas. Here's the Forest starting lineup. Navas in goal, 3 centre-backs, Joe Worrell, Felipe and Moussa Niakate, Serge Aurier and Renan Lodi, the 2 wing-backs, Mangala and Yates in central midfield, Danilo, Gibbs-White, and the man who's been scoring the goals recently, 4 in his last 2 games, the Nigerian Taiwo Awoniyi, playing through the middle. Brennan Johnson once again amongst the substitutes at the start of this game for Nottingham Forest. Saka has it wide right for Arsenal, plays a 1-2 with Partey, takes it down towards the byline, gets a low cross into the box, and Yates clears first time in his white boots, and it goes out for a throw into Arsenal on the right.
Yeah, got a little bit more possession, comfortable, got that foothold in the game they're wanting. Arsenal just off the ball a moment ago there. You're talking about striker Awoniyi, he get absolutely lumped off the ball by Gabriel. The referee didn't see it, but he just wiped him out.
Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0. 5 Live and BBC Sound. Jorginho playing the 1-2 with Ødegaard. Arsenal really on their mettle here at the moment, and Awoniyi now brings the ball away. Trossard, I thought, might have clipped him there. Thousands of Nottingham Forest fans did as well. Anthony Taylor's unmoved, diagonal ball out to Ødegaard, chests it down and starts to make an arrowing run in from the right, lays it off to Partey, clever little pass to Jesus. Jesus slips as he shoots. A few players have slipped so far on this City ground pitch in the sunshine this evening. Arsenal won a corner.
It's interesting there because Ødegaard he goes to ground there, and I mean there is an injury, it's Niakate, isn't it? I don't think it was deliberate. It was just, I think he slipped, and the follow through from the slip was very, very painful.
So 0-0 at the moment. Bottom of the table looks like this. West Ham now on 37 points are pretty much safe because their goal difference is so good. It stands at -14, so it would take a miracle, I think, for West Ham to go down. In fact, they They will be safe, won't they, actually, because if Nottingham Forest get to 37, that makes them safe. So West Ham, in fact, doing the maths as I go, safe on 37 points. But Nottingham Forest starting tonight on 34, Everton on 33 after their last gasp equaliser away to Wolves in our 3 o'clock commentary this afternoon. We're still waiting for this Arsenal corner to be taken because Niakate is down injured. Leeds just below the dotted line on 31 away at West Ham tomorrow, and Leicester in real strife on 30 points. They play at Newcastle on Monday night. Newcastle still needing a point to secure Champions League football, as are Manchester United. Liverpool got themselves a 1-1 draw at Anfield earlier on. So we're still waiting for Niakate to get to his feet.
Yeah, he'll be off the pitch for this corner kick coming in. That's not good. Just I watched a replay there, and absolutely no fault of Odegaard, just the way they fell. But he really has extended his knee and his ankle there, and that's one of those ones where give it 2 or 3 minutes and you'll find out either he'll be injured and he has to come off right away, or else it'll disappear. Interesting
setup from the corner for Arsenal, because they've got 5 players in the black shirts way beyond the far post, and Nottingham Forest almost have a defensive wall up to try and block them. I've never seen anything like it, and now they're going to go short with the corner. Trossard tries to flick it in towards the near post, and it's cleared away by Awoniyi, and Aaron Ramsdale, all in light grey, is up at the halfway line here, and he just caresses a pass low to his right and finds Granit Xhaka.
That looked like something you see in Ted Lasso. That was completely weird the way it was done there. It was almost like American football play, wasn't it?
Yeah, Mikel Arteta's in a funky mood, isn't he? Partey right back, Kivior left back, Tierney on the bench, and something funny from the corner. Jorginho striding forward into the Nottingham Forest half. Again, Arsenal play back to Gabriel. Manchester City fans will be listening intently. Nottingham Forest win here will give Manchester City the title tonight. They're at home against Chelsea tomorrow. They need 3 points as things stand at the moment to be absolutely mathematically certain of winning the title, so still very much in their hands, but they could be crowned champions this evening. That's what Arsenal are trying to prevent. Keep the fight going as long as they can. White to Gabriel, forward to Jorginho, bit of space to turn inside the Nottingham Forest half. Long shadow of one of the floodlights stretching into that Forest half. Ben White just moves away from that with his right wrist tightly strapped. Partey threads a ball through to Trossard. Saka's waiting for a back heel here if Trossard can find a way through, and Trossard in the end has won a corner for Arsenal. Forest 0, Arsenal 0.
Yeah, but the last 5 or 6 minutes, don't think Forest have got out of their half, have they? They're putting a lot of pressure, you know, getting their foot in the ball, passing it well. They're very good at holding the ball in that midfield, usually with Jorginho getting his foot on the ball. Just actually a wee bit noticeable, Jorginho's the only man left back there. He is possibly the slowest player on the field. That is strange. Funky, you're right.
But Nottingham Forest don't have anyone outside the penalty area, and Arsenal are going for a similar corner. There's all sorts of movement inside the box. In it comes, header flicked across goal, and then headed back just over the crossbar by Gabriel. And he's claiming it should have been another corner. Gabriel Jesus, I beg your pardon, with the header at the far post, thinks it got a touch of a Nottingham Forest player. Referee doesn't agree. Goal kick. Carlisle Bradford all over. Chris Coles.
Carlisle have done it. They're heading to Wembley. The fans pour onto the pitch. 3-2 win is over Bradford. The winning goal scored by Ben Barclay in extra time. He's on loan from Stockport, who Carlisle now face for a place in League One. Carlisle's match winner, unable to play at Wembley, but his goal has got them there. Carlisle 3, Bradford 1. Carlisle 3-2 winners on aggregate after extra time.
So playoff finals, we're looking at Luton Coventry, Sheffield Wednesday Barnsley, and Stockport against Carlisle. Awoniyi chasing a ball down the middle, manages to flick it on, and Danilo can't get there. Gabriel heads it back to Ramsdale. He's one who slightly slips, but he's delivered the ball to Partey. Partey comes striding up towards the halfway line, then turns back and finds Ben White.
There's a real bit of niggle about this, but you would expect that right now. There's so much riding on it, particularly for Forest just now. And that ball just played up long, nothing complicated about it, but how annoying. He puts pressure on, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's got pace, he's got physical attributes, but also he wants to hassle every player he plays against. He is serious handful.
Arsenal asking the questions at the moment. They're seeing lots of the balls. Saka's tackled by Lodi. Last touch came off Saka, so that will be a throw-in for Nottingham Forest. But Mikel Arteta likes what he sees. It was a difficult first 5 minutes or so, but Arsenal have started to settle, and he's going to continue to drive them forward. Throw in for Nottingham Forest then, level with the edge of their own penalty area. 18 minutes have flown by in the first half here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Loads more world-class sport on the way on both networks this evening, in fact, because the US PGA, second major of the men's year, third round tonight. Commentary on that on Sports Extra from 9 o'clock as Arsenal have given the ball away, and Gibbs White immediately is running at Arsenal defenders, plays it forward, and one knee stretching, scores again for Nottingham Forest. And how important could that goal be? Slides it past Aaron Ramsdale. Arsenal gave the ball away. Are they gifting the title to Manchester City tonight as well? But Nottingham Forest fans don't care about that. They know a win sees them safe. And who knows, could that be the goal to do it? Nottingham Forest 1, Arsenal 0.
I think it might have been Odegaard who gave the ball away there in the midfield, played it into him there comfortably by Jorginho, but I just gave it completely away. Gibbs White was straight onto it, and you could see it building up from 40 or 50 yards before he played it through. And when it was slipped through there, I think Ramsdale maybe a wee bit slow to come out there, wasn't quick enough anyway, and he never looked as if he was going to miss it. Just clipped over the top. Terrible ball there into Gibbs White. Wasn't an awful ball back there, but he was so calm when he was 1-on-1.
It's interesting, Pat, actually, because as it happened live, I thought Gibbs White had slightly overhit that pass and Ramsdale might come and get it. It was perfect.
Yeah, it was. Well, if the goalkeeper reads it there, he might have come out a little bit quicker. I think he's a bit slow. You know, it means nothing, to say they're a bit slow if you're a goalkeeper, but when he eventually gets there, he's only 7 yards out. You've got to spot that one coming, maybe. By the way, I've said it was a great finish. It's got a wee bit of luck there as well. There's a tackle with Gabriel there, gets the right bounce there, doesn't care. It's 1-0.
What a time to start scoring goals. 5 in his last 3 appearances. £17 million he cost from Union Berlin in the summer, and he's got Nottingham Forest ahead. Odegaard trying to make up for the mistake, has a swing at a shot from the edge of the box, cleared by Forest into the Arsenal half. Ben White gets there first for Arsenal, and the singing, you can hear it resounding around the 4 stands here at the City Ground. A win for Nottingham Forest, and they will be safe. Steve Cooper getting them back into the Premier League for the first time since 1999. All those players, of course, that arrived in the summer took a while to find the team, to find the system, but the home form's been superb, and here they lead by 1-0. And as it stands, Manchester City will be champions of England tonight before they even kick a ball this weekend. Odegaard onto it for Arsenal inside the Nottingham Forest half. Jorginho to Partey, wide to Saka. Saka against Lodi, back onto his left foot for the Arsenal man. Finds Partey. Partey looks for the through ball to Jesus. Jesus with defenders on him shoots, and Navas makes the save.
It doesn't look like a 1-0 game. It really doesn't look like it, and it doesn't feel like it. The people I was talking to in the train here today all saying the same thing. Two teams going to attack each other, expect lots of goals, desperate to get the 3 points. It could be quite open. The problem for Arsenal is they already look susceptible to the break.
Nottingham Forest have only lost 2 of their last 14 games here in the Premier League. 6 wins and 6 draws in that time, and you can just sense the confidence within the team, within the stadium tonight. Worrell wins a header. Xhaka's cushion pass, Gibbs White in with a block. Arsenal under pressure again. Ramsdale this time is quickly off his line and clears hurriedly and out for a throw into Nottingham Forest. And it's a standing ovation around the ground at the moment for the efforts of their team in this game so far.
They are loving it so far, but you know what it's going to feel like as the game goes on. If it stays this tight just now, these fans, they will keep on shouting on, but they'll also start getting nervous.
Another goal in the WSL, Mike Williams.
Definitely all over now. Tottenham 4, Reading 0. Kit Graham given the freedom of North London to race through past the Reading defence and slot low past Maloney to make it Tottenham 4, Reading 0. Spurs are staying in the WSL, and Reading are all but relegated. If Leicester now beat West Ham in the WSL tomorrow, then the Royals will follow the men's team this season and be relegated.
Title could also be decided tomorrow. Chelsea against Arsenal at 12:30. They will win the title tomorrow if they win that game, and then if Manchester United fail to beat Manchester City. We've got commentary of that game. It kicks off at 6:45 tomorrow night, that Manchester derby. The first half will be on Sports Extra, and the second half will be on 5 Live. Cat Downs will be presenting at that point, and will then take you into final round coverage of the US PGA Golf. Big boxing on tonight on 5 Live as well. Really looking forward to this one. 10 o'clock tonight. It's the Chantel Cameron against Katie Taylor fight in Dublin. But this is Nottingham Forest 1, Arsenal 0. Midway through the first half, as things stand, Forest are staying up. West Ham know they're staying up, and Manchester City know they, at the moment, have the title in their hands. They are champions as things stand. Here's Ødegaard. Back to Gabriel. Gabriel takes about 7-8 paces forward. Wants a run from Kivior on his outside. Kivior can't be his natural hunting ground, that wide on the left. Ball through from Jorginho. Finds Jesus. Jesus closed down by a pincer movement there from Felipe and Worrell. Mangala side foots one back to Worrell inside his own penalty area. Oh, no nonsense clearance. Gabriel's taken one in the face from Awoniyi as that clearance was heading towards both players, and Awoniyi is immediately booked for that, Pat.
Yeah, we're talking about the physicality, and you say he's going to fight and battle for everything. I think he's just trying to make himself big, but his arms have come out, his elbows come out. I don't think he's deliberately tried to elbow him in the face, and I don't think he's particularly badly hurt, but you need to be slightly more careful with that. He's not caught him in the face, he's caught him at the top of the chest. And the defender's gone down holding his face as if he's been hit by a sledgehammer.
Are you suggesting that the big Brazilian has made a little meal of that, perhaps?
I'm suggesting I've lost all sympathy completely for him at this point in time.
Pat Nevin here at the City Ground. What a noise, what an occasion, and what an evening it could be for Nottingham Forest, because at the moment they are staying up with a game to spare. They're away at Crystal Palace on the last day of the season next weekend. Xhaka's bobbling pass out to Trossard wide on the left. No more Martinelli this season for Arsenal, so Trossard starting out there today. Kivior at left back. This is Jorginho to Trossard, who pops up on his right shoulder. Trossard turns 180 degrees inside the Nottingham Forest half. Across he goes to Ødegaard. Ødegaard gives it to Saka and then runs towards him. Saka uses that as a decoy, brings it back infield, but Ødegaard stayed wide and gets it from Jorginho. Stabs a little ball down the line for Partey to try and collect. He hits the cross and wins a corner.
Yeah, definitely a corner. I don't think the assistant referee knew that. You didn't either, but then you've got an excuse. There was a pole right in front of you and you couldn't see it. But yeah, it was a corner kick. You'd have got that one right eventually. See if they've got any more strange ideas to the corners here, Arsenal.
Okay, let's have a look. Ødegaard comes short. Yeah, again, they're all gathering beyond the far post. Nottingham Forest have every player back.
And the deepest player again, it's Jorginho.
Yeah.
That could come home back to roost.
Saka drives that one in at pace. Trossard hits the shot and scuffs it slightly wide, and it's behind for a goal kick. Nice idea from Arsenal. It didn't quite come off. They're trying things with the corners this evening. Forest 1, Arsenal 0. Goals flying in at Tottenham for Mike Williams.
And you would think this is surely a consolation for Reading, but they have pulled one back. It's Tottenham 4, Reading 1, and it is Justine van Havermaet up for a corner. Brilliant downward header past the Spurs keeper, but with just 11 minutes to play here, it's not going to count for much, you would think. Spurs 4, Reading 1.
Premier League results today. Tottenham 1, Brentford 3. Wolves 1, Everton 1. Manchester United with a 1-0 win away to Bournemouth. Casemiro with the goal. Liverpool 1, Aston Villa 1. Roberto Firmino scoring on his last appearance at Anfield. Fulham 2, Crystal Palace 2. Highlights on Match of the Day. BBC 1 at 10:25, and Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage will want to hear from you on 6:06, which will follow this on 5 Live this evening. Lines will be open from half time. Nottingham Forest fans, if you stay up, I'm sure you will want to have your say. The number to dial is 08085 909 693. Jorginho to Partey, just inside the Nottingham Forest half. Jorginho gets it back from Partey, who's in this unfamiliar right back position. Little waggle of the left boot from Ødegaard, and the ball is back with Ben White inside the Arsenal half. Pat Nevin.
So close, aren't they? When they do that little press in the middle of the park there, if they go and nick it, they're right on the back line. They're working that situation, Nottingham Forest, to try and get there, because they absolutely believe in their pace, that they can do Arsenal.
Jesus turns away from Niakate, finds Ødegaard. Little backheel flick to Jesus again. He's going to hit the shot and get right underneath it. And into that Bridgeford end it goes, away to our right. Big roar from the Nottingham Forest fans. It remains Nottingham Forest 1, Arsenal 0.
I mean, you could forgive Arsenal for asking the question. You know, they think they've lost it. I mean, what difference does it make if you win, lose or draw this one? But that shouldn't be the way, and I don't think it is the way. But there is this psychological thing. They would like to win Forest need to win.
Yeah.
And it kind of looks a bit like that at the moment.
Well, I was just thinking from the Manchester City point of view, Pep Guardiola's line this week, which I thought was a nice one, was sort of trying to get over the final hurdle in terms of trying to win the title is like serving for the match at Wimbledon. The thing I thought about that, though, is your opponent could gift it to you with a double fault.
Exactly.
Which, if Arsenal lose to Brighton and lose against Nottingham Forest, would be exactly that. Big roar from the Forest fans because there's a handball just inside the Arsenal half. Nottingham Forest have a free kick. Taiwo Awoniyi's goal sees them leading Arsenal by 1-0. Last 2 home games, they've beaten Brighton, they've beaten Southampton, beaten West Ham here this season, Liverpool, Palace, Leicester, Leeds as well. Now they're leading against Arsenal. It will be down to the home form if they stay up, absolutely.
Yeah, there's a real belief about it, and you can see that. And once again, they've got a free kick from an area where they can put it in the mixer and ask those questions that Arsenal players don't particularly want to answer at the moment.
Can they get themselves 2 goals in front? Gibbs White with a high floated diagonal, but Anthony Taylor's seen a foul in there from a Nottingham Forest player. That's
painful for them because, you know, there's always going to be grappling and pulling and pushing. And every single free kick, corner kick you'll ever see in your life will have a foul somewhere. But that's 3 or 4 now that the referee's told up, and Forest are getting a bit frustrated by that.
5 Live BBC Sounds at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest 1, Arsenal 0. Jorginho's getting very frustrated with his teammates, isn't he, Pat?
Yeah, not just now. That's been going for about 10 minutes now. He's getting so upset because he feels they should be playing at the very... Considering he's a newish player at a team, very much a leader, trying to drive players on that some of them are having quite quiet afternoons so far.
Saka does well to hold off Lodi. Good dribbling from Saka, slaloming away to the right. Jesus' cross into the box. Worrell's there, thumps it away with his right boot. Awoniyi under pressure from 2 Arsenal players. Saka goes tumbling. Ødegaard comes flying in. Nottingham Forest played out really well. Lodi's got to be careful. Ødegaard wins it off him. Saka again speeds into view. Then he's hauled to the ground by Mangala, the Belgian, and that'll be a free kick for Arsenal.
It's monumentally scrappy in that midfield area, and Forest love that. That's exactly what they want. Challenges going in everywhere, you know, players going to ground, Arsenal players getting quite furious about the fact that they're not being able to play some tippy-tappy football. But you don't get that. Look, you're against a team who's fighting against relegation. You've got to accept that's what happens.
Very different to when I did the return game earlier in the season at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal absolutely cruised that day, won it by 5-0, but this is a completely different Nottingham Forest performance, completely different atmosphere, of course, as well, with Nottingham Forest at home. Jorginho, Ødegaard step over, tried to leave it for Saka, then Saka's frustrated, trips Lodi as he ran away with the ball. Nottingham Forest fans feel that should be a yellow card. I don't feel Saka made any attempt to play the ball there, so that could easily be a yellow.
That should be a yellow. You know, it's not vicious or anything, but it's absolutely deliberate. Player was running away from him. He's not trying to go for the ball. It's almost, well, we've got to, when we'll change him. Yeah, he's flicked. He knew exactly what he was doing there. Saka very lucky not to get a yellow card. Referee did a little word with him as he's run past. But there is a special wingers thing, you know. Wingers got away with it.
I know, Pat. Yes, I know. I've learned that down the years working with you. The Champions Cup final in the Rugby Union, absolute thriller over on Sports Extra at the moment. Leinster 26, La Rochelle 20. Chris Jones and the team bringing you the commentary from the Aviva Stadium. That's over on Sports Extra. Awoniyi, the goal scorer, works across into the Arsenal penalty area. Very easy for Ramsdale to come and collect. Here's a nice one for you, by the way, Pat. If Awoniyi does score the winner this evening, the last player to score a winner for Nottingham Forest against Arsenal in the Premier League was Erling Haaland's father.
And he scored 2 that day?
Correct, very good. Alf-Inge Haaland scored 2 in a 2-1 win in December 1996. But it just all sort of ties in very nicely. With Mr. Haaland, we imagine, in that City starting lineup tomorrow. But Manchester City tonight, if Forest win this game, are champions. Here's Ødegaard, corner of the Forest penalty area, back to Jorginho, into the feet of Jesus. The ball just jumps up off his right boot, but he goes out to the right wing, chases it, back to goal, being forced away from goal, and plays back to Ben White. Ben White immediately goes back down the right to Partey. Partey puts a bit of pace on the ball. Trossard's able to control it. Side foots one towards Gabriel, back towards the halfway line. Jorginho pops up between the 2 centre-backs. Again, he's waving his arms around, wanting more movement.
He's not really been able to link up with anyone in the midfield so far. He's been left. Ødegaard's not really giving him much on the right of him there. And Xhaka, you've hardly mentioned his name.
No, that's right. Brilliant turn from Mangala, and the pass out to the left to Danilo. Danilo just ran into Ben White, and White wins it for Arsenal, and they turn it into an attack. And Bukayo Saka's got the ball tied to his left boot at the moment, and Lodi's watching it intently. Saka holds off the challenge of Mangala, who's come across from his central midfield position. Now Jorginho, 30 yards out. Jesus trying to turn on the edge of the box. Can't hold Ryan Yates off, and it's with Navas. Navas, the Forest keeper, clears with his right foot. That bounces once. Gabriel lets it bounce again, and then plays back to his goalkeeper Ramsdale.
I mean, it is physical, and if you're an Arsenal fan watching this, you're thinking, this is too physical, this is unfair, this is football from another era that you're watching here at Forest are putting in. It quite often happens in these sort of games at the end of the season. But if you're a Forest fan, you say, we need to do this. And also, you know, players like Jesus, almost every time the ball's came to him, he's ended up on the ground. But he needs to stand on his feet sometimes.
That's right, yeah, Arsenal are trying to find that through ball to him, and every time he's trying to hold off the defender and turn at the same time. And at the moment, the likes of Worrell and Felipe have just been too strong. Nottingham Forest on the attack. Danilo looking for the run of Awoniyi. Ramsdale's out, gets a touch on the ball and just gets it away from Awoniyi. The offside flag was up.
His pace is actually scary, isn't it? I mean, I hadn't quite, you know, you see a player, you know, in person, it's different from when you see on TV, etc. He is frightening when he gets there. You think you have no chance of getting that. Yet the setting's halfway formed in your mind, and you think he's going to get there. So he's a serious handful up there, isn't he?
20 goals for Union Berlin last season, which is why he was signed. 15 in the Bundesliga. It's taken him a while to settle and find his feet, but he's found them at just the right time. Jorginho's ball down the left, and Serge Aurier taking no chances. Gets there ahead of Trossard and nods it behind for potentially another funky Arsenal corner. No corner, because the offside flag was up, so that'll be a free kick for Nottingham Forest. 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Nottingham Forest lead Arsenal by 1-0. And I'll continue to repeat it. Win for Nottingham Forest. They're staying up. West Ham, we know, they are staying up. So if it stays this way, it's going to be 2 from 3 out of Everton, Leeds and Leicester. Leeds away to West Ham tomorrow. That's our first commentary in the Premier League at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon.
Well, we always knew it was going to be down to the last day, and it was going to be painful for a number of teams. Forest just do not want to be part of that. And if they play the way they are just now.
Looking for Awoniyi. Not the best first touch. He goes flying off his right boot into the arms of Ramsdale.
It tells you another story about Awoniyi. Every time they get it, it's not just lumped up into his area. It's not just aimlessly hit towards his head or whatever. They're looking for him all the time. All 4 players in midfield get the ball. They are slipping it down the side time and time and time again. It tells you the story. They all believe in him. They all trust him as a good player. Well, they should do. He scored a goal already. But every time they get the ball, they believe that he's good enough to do that Arsenal's back line.
Mikel Arteta is deep in thought at the moment. Nottingham Forest 1, Arsenal 0, and Arsenal's season is fading fast. It has been some season for them. Champions League football will return to the Emirates Stadium for the first time in 7 seasons, and they've played some spellbinding stuff at times. What can they produce in the rest of this game? Ben White across to Trossard. Trossard's in the middle of the Nottingham Forest half. He's got Jorginho, plays a short pass to Jorginho. Jorginho only sees a wall of red shirts in front of him, so plays it across to Jakub Kivior, the Pole, signed in January, now finding himself out at left back in this game. Ben White through the middle to Saka, who tries to turn and feed one to Ødegaard. Again, Nottingham Forest have stopped that every single time. Saka does well to win it back for Arsenal, and here's Ødegaard. Saka on his outside, plays the pass to him. Saka drops the shoulder, looks for Ødegaard again on the corner of the box. Mangala tries the old roulette spin, a little bit risky in the left back position, but he's been fouled, so that'll be a free kick for Nottingham Forest.
See, I don't think fullbacks should be allowed to do as he done, Tom. I think he should be outlawed. No, it's the right thing to do. They are very strong, but the most notable thing is that was a 50-50 challenge. Look who wanted it. It's so obvious. I mean, it was an absolute 50-50. But, you know, and you understand why players think this way. Yeah, they'll put the effort in, they'll make the work, you know, do as much as they possibly can. But part of he's thinking, well, I don't want to get injured here. So he just lets them have the ball, and that can make a massive difference at this level.
We've got about 7 minutes left in the first half here, plus a bit of added time. Keylor Navas drives the ball downfield. Awoniyi causing problems for Arsenal again. Partey wins it. He's in a tight spot, turns, plays it up the right-hand touchline, intercepted by Forest. Mangala has lost it. Now Saka outside of his left boot looking for Jesus. Couldn't bring that under control. So Felipe plays it back to Navas. Navas to Worrell. And Worrell has space to run into here inside the Nottingham Forest half. Plays it into midfield to Ryan Yates. A couple of lads who've been at this club for a long time. Played a big part in the promotion to the Premier League last season. Played a big part again in trying to keep them in it this season. Iwonyi chests it down, finds Gibbs White on the right. Danilo wanted that delivered early. Gibbs White has held on to it, but Forest still have it inside the Arsenal half. Yates turns, plays back to Felipe.
The amount of times you see many clubs who play forward and it's slow and it's predictable. Every time Forest goes forward, you think, oh, something could happen there.
Ødegaard's lost it, but Gibbs White couldn't do anything with it. Here's Ramsdale. Ramsdale fires it out quickly to Kivior. Kivior's got Trossard wide on the left. Thought about releasing it, but keeps it and plays into midfield. Xhaka. Yeah, you're right, but I barely mentioned Granit Xhaka's name, actually. And actually, a lot of this season, he's been quite a feature of Arsenal's attacking play, hasn't he? Popping up in that sort of inside left channel, wide left at times.
You wonder sometimes, has he been reading the same newspapers as everyone else? And, the phone-ins, etc., the suggestion that he might be the one on his way and others might be coming in his replacement. Now, it doesn't matter who you are, you'd still be fuming about that because you've had a very good season. It might not be true, but, he's almost certainly read it.
Keylor Navas drives the ball high into the bright blue skies. Iwonyi can't do anything with that one. It's all the way through to Ramsdale. 5 minutes left in the first half. If you have just tuned in, live at the City Ground, Nottingham Forest leading Arsenal by 1-0, which means a couple of things. Nottingham Forest, if they win the game, will be in the Premier League next season, and Manchester City will be crowned champions tonight. Felipe lets the through ball go, and Navas is off his line and clutches the ball gratefully to his chest.
And let's be absolutely fair, the man that was chasing it down there was Xhaka. He came in from the left hand side there, got in front of his centre forward, but got a little bit too much in the ball, and Navas never looked as if he was in trouble.
Navas just bounces the ball casually a couple of times, edge of his penalty area, just inside it, volleys it away with his right foot into the shade of the Arsenal half. Mangala controls the clearance, lobs one over the top for Iwonyi to chase. Gabriel had the head start there. He's still made it awkward for him though. Gibbs White then puts Kivior under pressure. Arsenal trying to play out, and Nottingham Forest with Gibbs White have won the throw.
And they'll get another one of the long throws. I'm pretty sure they won't take it short. they love getting it in there. The problem they have got just now, it's 3 or 4 in a row before now. They were thrown in long, was a foul, so they didn't have a chance to do anything with it. So let's see if the referee gives another free kick when this goes in.
Yeah, you can see Anthony Taylor here in his luminous yellow shirt. He's got his beady eyes on everything that's going on around Aaron Ramsdale's near post, edge of the 6-yard box. Forest 1, Arsenal 0. Closing stages of the first half. Niakate with the long throw. It's got miles, but it's straight at Ramsdale, who makes a clean catch down by the byline. Ramsdale then almost barged by Yates as he tried to get to the edge of his box and get Arsenal going.
It's a weird one. Niakate goes all the way up there. He's a centre-back. He's a long throw specialist. Actually, we have Dave Challoner's name mentioned earlier on today with Stockport, isn't it?
Yes.
Who's world record holder. But on the right-hand side there, he doesn't even take a run-up.
Jesus to Saka. Arsenal immediately down the other end. Saka bundled off the ball. Again, looks at the referee for some help. Wants a free kick. Nothing given. Lodi, having won it, clears. Headed away by Ben White to Jorginho. Ødegaard makes a little run into space. A lot of red shirts in front of him again. Goes wide to Saka. Saka's going to run at Lodi. Crossing with his left foot. Felipe stretches. Up in the air it goes. Navas comes and decides to punch that. Mangala heads it away. Only as far as Partey. Pressure building from Arsenal late in the first half. Saka's going to have another little run at Lodi, but he's got 2 to deal with. Clever little chip ball into the path of Partey. Partey looking for the cross into the far post. Stretching is Aurier, and Gibbs White is back to clear.
That's really well played by Aurier there, because the temptation was just to lash it and do something stupid. He brought the ball down, then it was cleared by Gibbs White. But a little bit of better pressure from Arsenal now.
Nottingham Forest 1, Arsenal 0. Jorginho 30 yards out in the inside left channel. Arsenal all in black, attacking the goal away to our right. Trossard onto his right foot. Powerful header away from Worrell. Jorginho's there, controls it acrobatically, lays it off to Gabriel, immediately gives it back to Jorginho, stabs it back to White, and White wide to Ødegaard on the right. Ødegaard and Saka with a quick 1-2. Then Ødegaard drifts in from the right, rolls it into the path of Jorginho. Jorginho again to the right, and this time to Saka. Saka dummies the cross, back onto the left foot, dummies it again, onto the left foot again. Now it comes into the far post, no one there, and behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, that's actually very good defending there, because Arsenal got the ball exactly where they want it, round about that 18-yard line, putting themselves into a position to put a good cross in, but they were right there, weren't they? They had a 5 across the line, which we mentioned earlier on, and when they've got that 5 across that back line there was very, very little space, and Aurier knew exactly where it was, just left it to go out for a goal kick.
Anthony Taylor's going to stop the watch. Keylor Navas seems to have a problem at the moment. He's got both hands on each knee. He was about to take a goal kick, but the medical team are on their way over. Pep Guardiola might be preparing, well, I'm sure he won't, but there will be a victory cigar lined up somewhere, Pat, and it could well be smoked this evening, because if Arsenal lose the game, Manchester City are champions with 3 games to spare.
It looks possibly the most likely score at the moment, but you know, you've got a really good manager down there. You know, he will definitely do as much as he can, Arteta, to give them a chance in the second half, and I'm sure Arsenal will get a little chance now and again in the second half, and if they could get that second goal, that equalising goal, that would change the atmosphere, not necessarily in the stands but with the players. Can the Forest players stay that confident with that sort of belief? The psychology then changes. They would just love to get, to half-time, still 1-up with Nottingham Forest. That would make a great difference, and Pep's cigar can be clipped.
Navas is okay, he's taking the goal kick short. We're back underway. Serge Aurier drives it forward into the Arsenal half. Awoniyi wide on the right, jumps, wins the header, but also wins the throw.
I have no idea what was wrong with Navas there.
No.
Don't look at it and see what it was. Couldn't see it.
4 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. It's been an incredibly dramatic day on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds this afternoon. More reaction to the 3 o'clock kickoffs coming your way shortly with Steve Crossman. Particularly the late goal for Everton.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. By the way, the Niakate, long throw, doesn't even make a step.
No, that's right, he just stands, both feet on the ground. In it comes, Gabriel heads it away. Now let's see what he's like as a right winger, Pat.
I doubt it.
He's laid it back to Aurier. Aurier's ball in, Felipe can't control it on the edge of the box. Cleared by Kivior. Gibbs-White heads it forward. It's bouncing in the middle of the Arsenal half. Danilo's giving it away. Jesus plays it back to Partey. And Partey with the longer ball for Trossard to chase beyond Trossard and out for a throw into Nottingham Forest inside their own half.
They've looked a wee bit of a shadow of themselves, haven't they, Arsenal? That the brilliance that we were seeing early on this season, totally dominating possession of games and looking dangerous every time they got the ball. It's not really been like that, has it?
I thought this last week as well, Pat. Yellow card for time wasting for Moussa Niakate. So Anthony Taylor set his stall
harsh
out
that.
There. Yeah.
Wow.
West Ham on Thursday night were picking these up towards the end of their game against Alkmaar, that they won in the end to take them through to that Europa Conference League final. But the point I was making in commentary is you never see, West Ham sensibly then rotated the person who was taking the throw, but you never see 2 yellows for time wasting. It's very, very rare, Pat, isn't it, that you ever see a referee give the second yellow.
I would argue football's only that stupid.
Jorginho plays back to Gabriel. 2 minutes of added time remaining. Nottingham Forest 1, Arsenal 0. Nottingham Forest, as it stands, staying in the Premier League next season, and Manchester City are going to be champions tonight. Here's Ben White creeping forward. Pass to his right to Partey. Partey rolls the ball under the studs of his right boot and then plays it back to White.
It's very static ahead of him. Very, very static ahead of him. And it's not anti-Arsenal in any way whatsoever. It's because you know what Arsenal can be.
Arteta's livid, isn't he? Yeah, he's not happy, Mikel Arteta, and I think that's exactly the reason, Pat.
Yeah, you do expect everyone, and if you get a ball at the back, you think, come on, make a run for me, make a move for me, drag a player so that someone else can run into that position. Not been quite enough of that so far in the first half for Arsenal, even though they have had possession.
Ball through the middle this time to Jorginho. Jorginho, 25 yards out in a central position, lays it back to Gabriel. Minute and 20 seconds remaining in this first half, with Forest leading 1-0. So Forest very happy just to keep Arsenal at arm's length away from their goal, and they're being forced back again. White to Gabriel in the centre circle inside the Forest half. Forward he comes, bouncing ball to Partey. Partey wide to Saka. A couple of Arsenal players in the middle. Xhaka and Jesus waiting for the cross if it comes. Back to Partey. Partey looking for Ødegaard. Ødegaard couldn't control it. Scuffed clearance from Danilo, only as far as Ben White. Into the last minute now of this first half. Saka up against Lodi, tries to beat him on the outside, wins a throw.
First time he's got 1-on-1, usually gets back up there. Didn't have any backup. Lodi just got the long, lazy left foot out.
Saka wanted the early throw there from Partey. He'd made the run in behind. He didn't get it. So Arsenal are back to knocking it around across the midfield at the moment. They've got 30 seconds left to try and score a goal at the end of this first half. Chip ball for Partey to chase. Might get on the end of this in the box. Partey looking to make the tackle now. The clearance comes out to Saka. Saka, corner of the Nottingham Forest penalty area. Teasing defenders. Thinking about the cross with his left foot, turns again, Partey's behind him, now he gets the cross in, that's blocked, and we're going to have a late corner for Arsenal. Right at the end of the first half, they're trailing Nottingham Forest by 1-0.
Again, everyone talks about the psychology of goals scored just before half-time, and that would hurt Forest a lot, how hard they've worked to try and keep this clean sheet.
One of the replacement balls thrown at Bukayo Saka by the fans. He throws it back in anger, although bounced it in front of them, to be fair. Anthony Taylor's going to let this corner be played. Not much time left though at the end of this first half. Saka, floated ball to the edge of the box. Trossard hits it on the volley, gets underneath it, and it loops up over the bar. Steve Cooper complaining that that was even allowed to be taken. He's straight in the ear of Graham Scott, the fourth official, because had it gone in, he would have been extremely unhappy. But Pat Nevin, he's going to be extremely happy about his team's first half performance and Taiwo Awoniyi getting them 1-0 in front.
His work has been fantastic, but the work of every single player in red has been good. They understand the system they've got. It turns into a 5-4-1, the win they're defending, which is incredibly hard to get by if every one of those is working incredibly hard. So very few chances for Arsenal so far. Maybe that last half opportunity there summed it up. The good, neat little corner kick, but the execution wasn't good enough. A long way away from what we're used to from Arsenal this season. And at the moment, you just get the feeling, if they care enough to keep on going like this, Arsenal, they're not going to get it back. They need to change. The manager has to have a word. By the way, Jorginho gets a pass. He's been excellent.
Nottingham Forest players were roared from the field. Arsenal's players by the home fans jeered from the field. 45 minutes left in the game. Nottingham Forest 45 minutes from survival. Manchester City, as it stands, 45 minutes from the title tonight. Forest 1, Arsenal 0.
Thank you very much, guys. Not much urgency from Arsenal in that first half. Other Premier League headlines so far today. Everton scoring a late equaliser at Wolves thanks to Yerry Mina, which puts them 2 points above 18th place Leeds United ahead of Leeds' game against West Ham tomorrow, which is live on 5 Live, and then Leicester's trip to Newcastle on Monday. Roberto Firmino, on his farewell appearance, scored Liverpool's equaliser. They drew 1-1 with Aston Villa. However, that's not enough to give them a really good chance of reaching the Champions League. They're on 66 points, having played a game more than 4th place Manchester United, who are 3 ahead of them after their win over Bournemouth, which was by 1-0. Let's check in on the Women's Super League. Reading going down. Tottenham Hotspur, the home team. Mike Williams.
Yes, Spurs are staying up, and frankly, it's Bethany England's goals that have kept them up this season. Tottenham's top scorer weighed in with another 2 here this afternoon. 12 for the season so far. A close-range header in the first half and a poacher's finish in the second when Grace Maloney fumbled in the Reading goal and allowed England to slot home into an empty net. Selin Bizet and Kit Graham, the other scorers for Spurs, in what was an incredibly comfortable victory for the home side in the end. Van Havermaet pulled a consolation back for Reading, but it ended 4-1, and that all means that Spurs are safe, and Reading, well, they now need a miracle. 2 points adrift of safety at the bottom with 1 game to play, and they face title-chasing Chelsea next week on the final day. They could even be relegated before that tomorrow if Leicester beat West Ham at home. If they do go down, Reading, Steve, Reading Football Club will have the unenviable accolade of having both their men's and women's teams relegated in the same season. As for Tottenham, well, this is the end of a double header here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium today after the Premier League fixture earlier, so at least the home fans got to see one Spurs side win today.
It's been such a dramatic day of football this afternoon, but that has spread into the other sports. We knew the final of the Champions Cup was going to be exciting. Leinster versus La Rochelle. It's on a knife edge, Chris Jones.
They pick and go, and I think Leinster are over, Steve. They may have scored the try, La Rochelle, and they have scored the try. Huge moment in the Champions Cup final. The La Rochelle flags fly. They've scored the try that with the kick to come will put La Rochelle in the lead for the first time time in the Champions Cup final. The prop Coulomb has scored with just 8 minutes to go. Leinster 26, La Rochelle 25. There's a sin bin happening as well for a Leinster player. And this is turning into a nightmare for Leinster. At one point they led by 17 points to nil. They were in dreamland. But La Rochelle have completely and utterly dominated this second half. They've scored the try. They've got a man in the sin bin now, Leinster. And with 8 minutes to go, Dennis Hickey, this kick from Hastoy will put La Rochelle into a 1 point lead.
For sure. And, you know, as I said earlier on, we haven't seen Leinster anywhere near the 22, let alone the La Rochelle line. What a huge kick this is.
Huge kick for the fly half. Antoine Hastoy, who's been composed today. Leinster 26, La Rochelle 25. This will put the champions into the lead. And he's nudged it, it's over. Leinster 26, La Rochelle 27, and Leinster will have to try and come back, Steve, with 14 men. What a finish to the Champions Cup final.
Chris, thank you very much. Yeah, live commentary right now on 5 Sports Extra. We've got commentary of the third round of the PGA Championship Golf from Oak Hill, Rochester from 9 o'clock on 5 Sports Extra tonight. Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry in the same pairing. They tee off shortly, Ian Carter.
Yes, they're making their way to the first tee in still very wet conditions. The rain coming down, not much breeze, but the course getting wetter and wetter. Squeegees are out to keep it playable. They're both at level par, so within 5 shots of the lead, and that is held formidably by Scotty Scheffler, who has company on that 5 under par mark. Corey Connors and Victor Hovland up there as well. A couple of live players in the mix as well. DeChambeau 2 shots behind, Koepka 3 shots behind, and the leading Briton is Callum Tarrant from Darlington. He's among the late starters at 2 under, 3 behind.
In the Challenge Cup, Wigan came from behind to knock Leeds out. It's currently Catalan Dragons 10, Warrington 12. Later this evening, Salford Red Devils take on Huddersfield Giants. In horse racing, Modern Games stormed to victory in the Lock-In Stakes at Newbury. The big sporting action in Dublin continues this evening. Ireland's Katie Taylor fights England's Chantel Cameron. Steve Bunt's part of our team at the 3 Arena. It's going to be some atmosphere, Steve.
It's starting to build already, Steve-O. They're filing in. There's 9,500 they can hold inside this arena on the edge of town in the old dock area. They're getting ready here. They waited. It's the homecoming. It's been 7 years since she fought here as a professional. That's Katie Taylor. And she's the challenger. She's not the underdog. Don't get carried away, but she is the challenger. She's fighting Chantel Cameron. They own between them 11 World Championship belts. Just 4 on the line here. Katie Taylor moving up. £5 to challenge Cameron here sometime around 10 o'clock. It will be sold out and there will be thousands outside. The venue's surrounded by bars. It's Dublin. It's fight night. It's Taylor coming home.
It's going to be incredible. 10 o'clock on 5 Live for all of the best coverage. In county cricket this afternoon, Tom Laws took a career best 5 for 22 as the Division 1 leaders Surrey beat Kent by 10 wickets on day 3 at the Oval. Also wins for Hampshire and Somerset against Northampton and Middlesex. In Division 2, Worcestershire beat Leicestershire by 3 wickets, chasing down 271 for victory. That win takes Worcester up to second in the table. We'll get around as much reaction as we can to the big stories of the day before second half commentary at the City Ground, and we'll do that after the news with Alison Hughes.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Philip Schofield has agreed to step down from ITV's flagship daytime show this morning after more than 20 years. It follows reports of a breakdown of his relationship with his co-host Holly Willoughby. Yesterday, Philip Schofield's brother Timothy was jailed for 12 years for child sex offences. Russia is accusing the West of escalation after the US agreed to let countries supply Ukraine with American-made F-16 fighter jets. Kyiv has been trying to persuade allies to provide advanced jets to help it turn the tide of the Russian invasion. Sinn Féin looks set to take more seats than its main rival, the Democratic Unionist Party, in Northern Ireland's local elections. The DUP is currently blocking the formation of a coalition at Stormont in protest at Brexit trading arrangements. The party's leader, Sir Geoffrey Donaldson, dismissed suggestions that this policy has helped Sinn Féin. And 15 dogs have been seized by police in Greater Manchester, investigating a dog attack which led to the death of a 37-year-old man. Jonathan Hogg died of injuries he sustained in Leigh on Thursday. A man and a woman in their 20s have been arrested.
This is 5 Live Sport with Steve Crossman.
Back at the City Ground shortly, but Everton's fight for survival will go to the final day of the season after a late goal against Wolves. Yerry Mina scoring in the 99th minute, and it finished 1-1. Here's Sean Dyche.
I'm pleased because I reminded the players at half-time. I said, look, it's every breath. I said, football's every breath. That's what you've got to give. It's not always about tactics. It's not always about that side of things. It's about believing in each other and giving everything until the last breath of the game, and I'm pleased that we did that.
So, what about these injuries then? First of all, Nathan Patterson, followed by Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I remember you took him off last week because you didn't want to risk him for these remaining 2 games with a tight groin. Is it a similar situation this time around?
I've just got to wait and see. It's too early, when players come off there, it's too early to say, but certainly over the next 48 hours we're going to have a clearer picture of the injuries. We are as stretched as probably we could be. We've adapted well today. The players have adapted well. We've changed shapes, we've changed personnel, and every time I did that, their open-mindedness to take the game on, I thought was so pleasing. No one's griping, no one's moaning, everyone's just going, right, okay, let's take it on. Every time we change the shape, we look to be effective and look to affect the game. I'm really pleased with that mentality, and we need that, of course, going into the last game.
It could be a huge point. You've got a massive week now ahead. I know other games are taking place and you can't influence what goes on there. You've just got to keep believing in yourself.
Yeah, absolutely that. I'm not obsessing about others because I can't affect it. It's nice if things go your way. If they don't, then we take it on anyway. Whatever happens, we're going into the last game to win, that's for sure.
Sean Dyche for Juliet Farrington. Liverpool drew 1-1 with Aston Villa to keep them just about in the race for Champions League football. Roberto Firmino came off the bench in his final game to score the equaliser. James Milner also said goodbye to Anfield.
I've been lucky enough to have a pretty good time here, and the things I've achieved and play for this amazing club. It's a special place and feels, unbelievable to play here. So as a Liverpool player, I might play here again, who knows? But it's a special day. Disappointing that we couldn't get the win, obviously. We were pushing at the end, but couldn't quite get that goal.
When you left Manchester City 8 years ago, did you dream that you could win the lot here?
Well, that was the plan, obviously. I think, the main one Liverpool always wanted was that league title that they've been missing for so long. To add another Champions League and then, the other trophies. But to get that league title was the one that you thought, when we came here, that was the aim. And if we could do that, how special it'd be. And, to leave after 8 years and have done that, it's what you hoped would happen, and it has happened. So it's job done. It's a nice way to leave the club after being part of such a special journey.
How do you actually feel right now? Are there emotions in terms of, have there been tears? Are you reflective? What's going on inside that head?
No, I think when the decision's been made that you're going to leave, I think you get your head around it, and I think that's, it probably feels right to go at this point. So I think you're probably a bit more emotional if you've had it taken out of your hands early or anything like that. But I've had 8 unbelievable years here, and probably coming here I was 29 when I signed. Not a lot of people would have thought I would have played this many games and would have been as successful as we have been. So, it's content really that what I've experienced here, playing for an amazing club, and happy with the job and the team that I've been part of and what we've managed to contribute to this, the amazing history of this club.
Leinster are seconds away from successive Champions Cup final defeats. This time last year, they were beaten by La Rochelle, and it looks like it's going to happen all over again. Chris Jones.
Steve, this is an extraordinary finish. For the first time, practically in the second half, Leinster have field position, and they have gone through multiple phases, and they are just short of the line. But there's been a stoppage because the La Rochelle player's got a head injury. So as Leinster were attacking 3 or 4 metres out, they're going to have to get the stretcher, I think, because the La Rochelle player, it might be their prop hero, Colom, who scored the try, is down prone and looking in a very difficult position. But the score is Leinster 26, La Rochelle 27, and we've got 90 seconds left of the Champions Cup final. Leinster will have a scrum 5 metres out when we resume.
Once we're done with the football at the City Ground, it'll be time for 606 with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage. Afternoon, guys.
Afternoon, Steve. I wonder if Man City fans will be celebrating the league title, Chris, tonight.
Well, it looks that way, unless Arsenal really buck their ideas up. So we want to hear from Manchester City fans and Arsenal fans if Arsenal choke today. Everton have had a really interesting afternoon, haven't they? Is that a good point for them, Rob?
Yeah, it could be a very good point. Nottingham Forest, they could stay up if they win today, Chris. And what about Champions League, United and Newcastle?
Well, Manchester United, because Newcastle United as well, Rob. Yeah, Manchester United. It's been a great season, would you say? And Liverpool. Want to hear from Liverpool fans on their whole season. Massive disappointment, missing out on the Champions League spot. It looks that way now, doesn't it? And how will Bobby Firmino be remembered? And James Milner, who that was their last home game. Rob.
08285 909 693. Sheffield Wednesday fans, Stockport County fans, Barnsley fans of clubs in the playoffs. Barnsley. Let's go back to Steve Crossman.
Spartans fans, guys. Spartans fans promoted to the Scottish Professional League for the first time ever. That's what you want to hear from 08085 909 693. Robbie, don't laugh. It's a great story.
No, we all know it. You were struggling with Scottish Professional.
I really was,
yeah. Weren't you?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
It's
Chris.
A long word.
Thanks for pointing it out to the millions of listeners. Much appreciated, as always. Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage will be with you for 6:06. Teams are on their way out for the second half of Nottingham Forest against Arsenal. Let's rejoin Ali Bruce Ball and Pat Nevin. Pat, I mentioned, just as we were coming off for half-time there, where is the intensity and the urgency? Does this just look like an Arsenal team have accepted their fate?
Yeah, it does look a wee bit like that. It's not that they're not giving up completely. It's not that they're not trying something. But to win in games like this against a team that's fighting and chasing and battling every inch of the way because the Premiership likes to depend on it, you've got to give something extra special. And they've not been able to do that yet. As I said beforehand, I'll take Jorginho out of that. His attitude's been brilliant start to finish, and he's been the best looking player in the team, but he's not getting a lot of help, around him just now. But you can understand it. It's kind of natural, it's human nature. But I'm sure Mikel Arteta doesn't feel the same way because he's been on the sidelines here shouting and bawling and screaming. And we know what these games are like. These games can oscillate wildly from the first half to the second half. Let's see what sort of reaction he gets.
Leinster have had a red card, by the way, in the dying embers of the Champions Cup final. It's Leinster 26, La Rochelle 27. Live commentary of the last 90 seconds on 5 Sports Extra, but it looks very much like, for the second year in a row, Leinster are going to lose in the final to the same opposition. That's the noise for the Nottingham Forest players retaking the pitch at the City Ground. Ali, it's all yours.
Thank you, Steve. Yes, incredible atmosphere throughout this game so far this evening. Pretty much from as soon as the fans got inside the ground. Players roared off at half-time, roared back onto the field. Arsenal were out a couple of minutes before them. Pat Nevin and I were just looking at the list of Arsenal substitutes, and with the likes of Martinelli now injured and Zinchenko and Saliba, who's been out for a while, there's not too much that Mikel Arteta has got at his disposal to try and turn this around. Mull of Kintyre strikes up once again. So here we go, second half on the way. Nottingham Forest lead Arsenal by a goal to nil. The motivation for Nottingham Forest is absolutely huge. They know that if they win this game, next week doesn't matter. They will be in the Premier League again next season. The motivation for Arsenal is pride. It is trying to prevent Manchester City winning the title tonight without a ball being kicked, and basically, Pat, I mean, just to play a bit better.
Yeah, again, you have to be able to play in the final third, and just look at the way they've set up Nottingham Forest here again. It's back to that 5-4-1. It is really hard to play against it, especially as every single player playing against you is given everything he's got for every moment of the game. So, but it doesn't matter. You have to keep on going, play a little bit better, but quicker, and also make runs for your teammates, make selfless runs, run into areas.
Arsenal change kit this evening. They're all in black. They're playing from right to left towards the two-tiered Trent end, away to our left in the second half. Jorginho under pressure from Awoniyi. He won't get a free kick as he goes down. Nottingham Forest have won the ball. Gibbs White just holds on to it for a second. Yates was getting forward down the right. And then eventually the ref was playing an advantage. He has given a free kick for the foul on Jorginho.
Yeah, because Jorginho knew what he was doing there. He was on his backside and he made sure that the player fell over him. Again, I mentioned it to you before. Why do you put Jorginho as the last man?
Yeah.
I have no idea why you would do that. Because if the team do a break on you and it's a foot race, for all he's a Fabulous player, he has one weakness. He is not quick. Not in comparison with the players at Nottingham Forest have got up front anyway.
Referee Anthony Taylor had spotted that. It was Jorginho and Gabriel blocking the path of Awoniyi as he was trying to get forward in the attack. He allowed the attack to develop, and as soon as the pass from Gibbs White didn't reach Ryan Yates on the right-hand side, he pulled it back for the free kick. Central position. Now awkward for Ramsdale, because I noticed this at the start of the second half. The sun is obviously dropping lower in the sky, and he's constantly holding his left hand sort of above his brow to shield his eyes from the sun.
If they get a long throw from roughly the angle we're behind here on the right-hand side, that will be difficult for them.
Nottingham Forest 1, Arsenal 0. Free kick, Nottingham Forest. Red shirts, white shorts and red socks. Here's Gibbs White. Floated one to the far post. Headed back across goal. Headed away for now by Arsenal. Xhaka miscues with his header. Lodi's ball bouncing into the box. Very nearly creeps in from Felipe's scuff shot. Ramsdale might have got fingertips to that. It's a Nottingham Forest corner.
I just looked down at Arteta there. He cannot believe how poor the marking was from his defenders. It was just a little drag over to the back corner. He knew he was going to put it there. He was never going to shoot from there. It's about 40 yards out. Nobody went to with their back post there. Almost let it go. They deserved the goal there, Forest.
You can feel the belief coursing around the stands here at the City Ground. Corner in from the right, pacey delivery. Jesus there, heads it straight behind for another corner. This unusual Arsenal backline for this game this evening. Partey is the right back, Jakub Kiwior, the Pole, is the left back. Gabriel and Ben White, the two centre backs, with Aaron Ramsdale behind them. Another corner to defend. Lodi will take. Thousands of red-shirted Forest fans behind him. Deeper one to the far post. Ramsdale's there, nearly dropped that. Caught it at about the third attempt. And Felipe was interested if he could try and get on the end of the loose ball. But Ramsdale's got it. So that was the Arsenal back four. Then you've got Jorginho and Granit Xhaka, Saka, Ødegaard and Trossard, with Gabriel Jesus through the middle. 3.5 minutes gone in the second half. Lines open for 606 08085 909 693. And Ben White's bringing the ball forward for Arsenal. Finds Trossard, little lay off to Ødegaard, back to Trossard. That's more like the old Arsenal that we've seen this season. But then Trossard forced away from the penalty area by Nottingham Forest congested backline. Kiwior plays it down the left. Jesus has pulled wide. Kiwior gets it back. Here's Jorginho. Jorginho, his pass across to Ben White. Nottingham Forest have everyone bar Awoniyi behind the ball, defending this goal away to our left. And you can hear how the fans are trying to help them across the line. Trossard's ball into the box. Aurier's header away. Awoniyi with a stooping header. Gabriel's there. Bounces it forward to Xhaka. Kiwior in a bit of space on the left. Looks up. Low pass. Finds Trossard. Trossard's tackled by Mangala. Then he comes through the back of Mangala. Bit scrappy now. Gibbs White gets there. Awoniyi lays it off to Gibbs White, who was trying to streak away down the right. Just momentum slightly stopped, but he has won Nottingham Forest a throw.
No, the work rate's great there from Gibbs White, and they've got a real belief. If you make a tackle and you win the ball and you're in a red shirt, your mate will be right beside you. He'll run for you. He'll run into angles so you've got an option ahead of you. It's not happening the same from the Arsenal players, but every one of those Forest players know their teammates are going to do that and going to help them out.
La Rochelle have won the Champions Cup in a thriller, 27-26 against Leinster in Dublin. Chris Jones will be here in a while to bring us the details of that one. But if you have been listening on Sports Extra before switching over to us, then you've obviously been treated to a cracker in the Champions Cup final this afternoon. Forest 1, Arsenal 0. Ødegaard thought about a shot from range, about 25 yards out. Instead, plays a pass out to the left to Kiwior, back to Jorginho. Jorginho in the middle of the Nottingham Forest half. White, number 20, on his back, eventually releases the pass to Partey on the right, and again he's waving his arms around as to what he thinks should be going on around him as he's got the ball at his feet. Partey to Ødegaard, lays it back to Jorginho in his light green boots, to White. White out to Partey on the right. Saka then comes drifting towards him. White again finds Jesus. Jesus tries to turn away from Felipe. Ødegaard gets a foot on the ball. Yes, he did get the last touch. Goal kick for Nottingham Forest.
Tiny bit better there, I think, from Arsenal. Bit of movement, as you say. Jorginho's telling them all to go. Slight change. I mean, I'm watching Jesus there. He is spending a lot more time out left in the second half. He feels as if he's up against three centre backs most of the time, one in his own. When the ball's played into him, he's not been strong enough to get away from them. But also, it's just weight of numbers. So he's pulling out to the left very, very regularly. Saka's come out as a kind of right-hand side, and they're playing with a false nine, mostly Ødegaard.
Keylor Navas, the Forest keeper, just rolls the goal kick short to Joe Worrell, who absolutely clatters it downfield. Kiwior up to win the header. The ball now falls to the feet of Ben White. So Navas in goal for Nottingham Forest. Worrell, Felipe and Niakate. One of the Forest players on a yellow card is Niakate. Aurier and Lodi, the wing backs. Mangala and Yates in central midfield. Danilo and Gibbs White in support of the goal scorer Awoniyi, who's the other player on the yellow card. Xhaka to Ødegaard. Ødegaard gliding forward gracefully. Pass through is intercepted. He was looking for Xhaka. It's an Arsenal throw, attacking position on the right. They take it quickly. And Ben White just starts slowly moving forward with the ball. Plays to Ødegaard. Ødegaard back to Jorginho. Changes direction. Partey trying to come in on the diagonal, down by the byline. Gets a foot on the ball. I think it had gone behind. Yeah, goal kick for Nottingham Forest.
I haven't said that's pretty brave defending there from Lodi. It could have been a lot worse than brave. But he felt as if the dummy would let the ball go out. It did go out. Wouldn't take those chances too often. Maybe once every now and again. But I'd say at the end of the first half, it did look as if Arsenal were asleep. You know, but they've livened up a little bit. That's going to happen when the manager's had a bit of a dig at you at half-time. And it's whether Arsenal can keep that up or even build in that first 5 or so minutes.
I think Felipe for Nottingham Forest at centre-back might have a slight problem. There was some communication there between Steve Cooper and the team, but Felipe jogs back into the action. Nottingham Forest trying to slow things down. 8 minutes gone in the second half. Just how urgent, how desperate are Arsenal going to be to try and get something out of this game? Have to win it to keep the title race alive. If they do manage a draw, Manchester City mathematically won't be champions tonight, but Arsenal will be 3 points behind them with a game to play, and Manchester City's goal difference is 20 better than Arsenal's. In fact, with Arsenal one behind here, it's currently 21 better. White's ball in towards Jesus. He goes down in the box. He's looking for a penalty for a challenge off the ball.
Do you know what? I think they should have a look at that. I absolutely think he's given a yellow card, and I think the referee would think twice about that if he had a look at it again.
Okay. Joe Worrell was the player running with him.
He's dragged him back by his shoulder. On this occasion, I think Jesus has been hard done to.
Okay, well, he's got the yellow card for his complaints about the decision that went against him, and Neil Swarbrick, who's the video assistant referee for this one, has had a look at the evidence and decided to keep the on-field decision as it is. So Jesus booked, and the free kick for Nottingham Forest is driven long. Kivior had no idea where that went. Awoniyi looking for the run of Gibbs-White. Jorginho quickly in to intercept. Clears on the turn on the half volley with his left foot. Felipe with his left thigh nudges it forward. Aurier under pressure on the right. Tackled by Jesus. Throw in for Arsenal. Jesus thought about going quickly, but he's decided to leave it to Kivior.
Well, you know what's happened with Jesus there, because he's gone down time and time again in this game, and it's been a bit annoying. You know, yes, there's been some physical contact, but he's gone down time and time again. The time when he's now dragged down by his shoulder in the box, when there's a very good argument for a penalty kick, the referee's fed up on now, so he's not going to give it, and it's not enough for the assistant referee or the VAR officials to change it.
Ødegaard trying to make things happen for Arsenal. Forest 1, Arsenal 0. Forest fighting tooth and nail for everything. They do not want this to go to the last day of the season. They're away at Crystal Palace next Sunday. Win today, though, it's irrelevant. They'll be staying up, and they'll be up to Everton, Leeds and Leicester. 2 from 3 will go. Southampton already gone. Leeds next in action. Full commentary on their game at West Ham. 1:30 kickoff tomorrow. Ødegaard looking for Jesus. Felipe read it well. Stepped in. Clears with his left foot. Driven forward by Danilo over the head of Awoniyi, chested down by White. Jorginho takes it off White, sees Partey in space on the right. Partey closed down by Danilo. Ben White speeds in to help his teammate out, then clips the ball forward with his right foot way beyond Ødegaard, although a bit of backspin on it, so it stays in play, which means there's defending to do here for Niakate. Tackles Jesus eventually. Partey battles with Danilo. The throw-in goes to Arsenal. Throw into Jorginho. Jorginho across to Kivior. Kivior plays back to Gabriel. Keeping an eye on the stopwatch all the time. I know the Nottingham Forest fans in particular, and the Manchester City fans, I expect, will be doing that. Kivior is tackled. Aurier plays it to Yates. Back to Aurier in the right back position. Triangle of red shirts just passing it around for fun at the moment, and the Nottingham Forest fans love that. Cleared by Worrell. Awoniyi's gone down under the challenge from Gabriel, but that won't be a free kick, so Arsenal will have a chance to build another attack. Ben White passes it across the halfway line to Partey. Partey bringing it forward for Arsenal, central position, looking for support. Xhaka to his left. Jorginho wants it. He's got both palms out saying give it. Gets it, plays it to Ødegaard. Saka starts a run, stops, thinks about going again. Ødegaard, little ball to Saka, back to Jorginho. Defending has been resolute and brilliantly organised by Nottingham Forest so far. There's a foul on Lodi, so that'll be a free kick for Nottingham Forest. Let's get the details then on that Champions Cup final, a thriller between Leinster and La Rochelle. Chris Jones.
One of the most dramatic games of rugby anyone in this stadium has ever seen, Ali. Leinster 26, La Rochelle 27. When you were last with us, Leinster were driving close to the line, but there was an injury to a La Rochelle player because of an illegal clear-out by Michael Alalatoa. He was sent off. La Rochelle wound down the clock. They've done it again, the men in yellow. Ronan O'Gara's done it again to Leinster. La Rochelle go back-to-back. Their Champions Cup winners once more. Heartbreak for Leinster. La Rochelle about to pick up the trophy, and on the basis of their second half performance, worthy winners once more.
Thank you, Chris. It makes me think the Rugby Union Weekly, when next out, will be well worth a listen, available via BBC Sounds. Football Daily will be exactly the same after the dramatic day we've had today, up and down the leagues, up and down the country in the football today. Here's Jorginho, edge of the area, looking to find Jesus. Worrell readied, intercepts it. Gibbs-White clears the bouncing ball into the Arsenal half. Gabriel miscues the header. Awoniyi right onto the back of him, trying to hassle him out of possession here. Gabriel holds him off.
He did, but it wasn't comfortable, was it? He would usually feel strong enough to hold anyone off. He's not going to do that against this man. He's all over him like a rash, and he just keeps on going, keeps on trying, keeps on pushing him, and the referee's, allowing a little bit of physicality, and that's suiting Iwamya.
Lines open for 6:06. Robbie Savage, Chris Sutton taking the calls as always. 08085 909 693. Hopeful but hopeless ball from Kivior into the Nottingham Forest penalty area. Navas collects.
What is very noticeable is that the two fullbacks they're not natural. So they're not flying up the line and putting crosses in. They're not dragging players out. They're just pretty static most of the time. If they get forward, they play a square ball. You've got to do something. I promise you I didn't see that. As I'm speaking,
Kieran Tierney is getting ready to come on and be a proper fullback for Arsenal. I wonder whether he's got a slight something that's not enabled him to start the game today. Because he has a strange back four for Arsenal today.
It's very, very strange. They've made a few changes now. But just that last, got up the left-hand side and a really poor ball in, and you're thinking, wait a minute, you've got somebody who's got magnificent delivery sitting on that bench now. We're not allowed to be biased in the BBC, but I'm slightly biased towards Kieran Tierney because of my Scottishness, and I do feel quite sorry for him to be overlooked when he could have added something.
So Tierney's coming on and Ketia's coming on, but Arsenal can't make the changes just yet. Nottingham Forest 1, Arsenal 0. If Arsenal lose the game, Manchester City are champions tonight. So Manchester City against Chelsea tomorrow will be a celebration at the Etihad if that is the case. Even if Arsenal win this game. Here's Saka with his right foot, hits the shot, and Navas makes the save from the angle at the near post, and I think Saka has won a corner for Arsenal, battling for the ball down by the byline.
Arguably the best chance of the game so far for Arsenal. Just flicked over the top. That's the first time in this game that Forest have turned off. Nice little clip over the top there. He's run from behind I was going to say full back, it's wing back really. Lodi, I think it was. Didn't fall on quickly enough. Difficult angle, but the keeper made himself big.
Corner for Arsenal. Can they get themselves back in the game? Half an hour to play. 5 Live and BBC Sounds at the City Ground. Saka's corner, in it comes with a left foot, flicked header to the far post, driving from Jorginho is wide of Navas's left hand post, hit it with the outside of his right boot. I think may have taken a deflection on the way through. Another corner for Arsenal.
Yep, keeper had it covered there without a doubt, but it's amazing, it has lifted a little bit. Sometimes that happens when a couple of substitutes warm up. Everyone thinks, well, I don't want to come off, I don't want it to be me.
Ødegaard's there for the short corner if Arsenal want it. Attacking this goal away to our left. Forest leading 1-0. Forest win, keeps them up.
Great delivery for the last one from Saka. See if he can do the same.
Saka in his bright orange boots over on the far side of the field from where we're looking in the Peter Taylor stand. Jogs on the spot, kills another corner into the box, flicked on again to the far post. Jesus battles for it, has it inside the area, stretches to get it back to Jorginho. Jesus is down, Forest player down as well. Play continues. And here's Saka on the right-hand side. Danilo is down. Deep ball to the far post. Jesus jumps with Worrell. Worrell wins the header. Shoves Jesus out of the way. Knocks the ball into Jesus and wins the goal kick.
You can often look at players when they go down and the way they react on the ground. when they go down. And I don't particularly like the way he's gone down there. He's tried to move, he's tried to get himself up. So I suspect he has done his ankle a little bit there. We'll see if he can recover from it. But a little bit of a breaking play, and Arsenal will get a chance to make those chances.
Yeah, here come the changes. Xhaka came off, Kivior off. So Kivior was the left back, that's an obvious one. Tierney on at left back, and Nketiah on for Granit Xhaka. Trossard looking for some instruction on how they're now going to line up. Jesus and Nketiah and Ødegaard and Saka and Trossard all on the field. So Arsenal going for it because they have to, trying to delay the inevitable really. If they get a draw in this game, as I say, Manchester City will effectively be champions, but a point tomorrow against Chelsea would confirm it. If Arsenal win this game, Manchester City would need to beat Chelsea tomorrow to win the title this weekend. We've got full commentary on that tomorrow. Manchester City against Chelsea. John Murray and Clinton Morrison with that one. And West Ham Leeds is our commentary at 1:30. Leeds sitting in 18th spot on 31 points, 2 points behind Everton after Everton's dramatic draw at Wolves with the late goal from Yerry Mina this evening. All the highlights, match of the day, BBC One at 10:25. So let's see how, as it remains 1-0, Pat, and Forest get closer to what they're trying to achieve this evening, just how they cope with the pressure if it continues to come from Arsenal.
Yeah, and to be honest, they've done well at home, and as we mentioned earlier on, right at the start of the game, it is about the fans working closely with the players. If the fans don't show the nervousness, if they keep on singing, making the buzz just now, that'll keep the players lifted. And I did mention hand and glove before, but that is definitely the way it is between the two of them at the moment.
Still keeping an eye on this stopwatch. 18 minutes have already gone in this second half, and it's still Taiwo Awoniyi's first half goal that separates the two teams. Ødegaard's misplaced pass ran to Gibbs-White, who drove forward, released his pass into the path of Awoniyi, who was actually sort of tackled by Gabriel as he hit the shot, but it bounced back onto his right foot over Aaron Ramsdale into the back of the net. Could be the most important goal he'll score for this club. Scored both in the 2-2 at Chelsea as well last weekend, of course. Ødegaard plays out to Saka on the right. Arsenal keep coming. Jorginho looks for support, sees it in Gabriel to his left. Here's Kieran Tierney looking for a first touch, but Gabriel comes back infield. Trossard can't control it. Awoniyi's going to chase. Gabriel's back quickly for Arsenal and plays it back to Ramsdale.
Good pace there from Gabriel. He had to get back there, didn't he? Under a little bit of pressure. It's a little bit more like a back three for Arsenal at the moment. We'll see how that kind of works out as the game goes on, but Tierney's going to play a lot further forward than his predecessor.
Here come Arsenal again. Trossard on the ball, 40 yards from goal, central position, and Nketiah's first touch, he's lost it. He's tried too hard to win it back. He's knocked Felipe over. Felipe down, then a challenge on Mangala, and eventually a free kick given to Nottingham Forest. Forest 1, Arsenal 0.
64 minutes gone, there's 2 Forest players down. A bit early to be wasting time, possibly. They've already had 1 yellow card for it, but it's trying to break up play this early is pushing it a little bit.
Lines open for 606. If you've not called the show before, the number to dial if you don't know it, listen carefully, 08085 909 693. Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage want to hear from you. Following on from them a bit later this evening's the big fight in Dublin. Coverage from 10 o'clock here on 5 Live. Chantel Cameron against Katie Taylor. And if you're a golf fan, third round of the US PGA, commentary on that from 9 o'clock this evening on Sports Extra, which actually, Pat, if you and I are heading London way, that might be keeping us company actually, because I know you like your... Yeah. Were you not here today, you would probably be striking a golf ball somewhere, I imagine, in this weather. Yeah.
Oh, and the fact I'm DJing at midnight.
Oh yeah, you're doing that as well. I'll be tucked up by then, I can tell you.
Difference between me and you.
That's absolutely right, Pat. Right, Kouyate's getting ready to come on for Nottingham Forest. Brilliant energy's been transmitted from the Nottingham Forest fans today, because there haven't been nerves. It's been confidence and belief and roaring them on all the time.
And that's been noticeable, when they have played at home and they had good performances. And even if, they get a point, the fans are saying, yeah, that's it, good enough, we're with you. And fans are like that, and it's, yes, Forest fans, well done, you're good at that. There's lots of fans like that. If they see the effort, they will get behind you. And there's no doubt they're seeing plenty of effort here.
Worrell's long ball downfield. Game is back underway. Arsenal have given it away. Gibbs-White from the angle. goal into the side netting. Tried to beat Ramsdale at the near post rather than going for the far corner, but he was 2 yards from the byline, went for power, couldn't stick it away.
There was a possibility of a cut back on there. Real temptation to do it. Was it Yates? I think it was Yates who was running in around about the penalty spot. He was quite far back. He would have taken a good ball. But think of the way Arsenal gave away the first goal.
Yeah.
Different position, but very, very similar. Poor passing in a dangerous area.
Sloppy from Arsenal, trailing Nottingham Forest by 1-0. A quarter of the game remaining. Nottingham Forest closing in here on Premier League survival. Trossard's diagonal ball. Ødegaard leaps for it. It's headed away, but only as far as Jorginho. Here's Saka on the right. Thinks about taking Lodi on the outside. Comes back to Ødegaard, corner of the Nottingham Forest penalty. He just cannot see a way through.
I'm beginning to see wee gaps though.
Oh yeah.
There's certainly the two wing backs now. Saka's getting a little bit more space. Tierney's got on the left hand side. He's getting past now.
Yeah, Tierney away from Aurier. That's a lovely ball into the far post. Good header away though, chested down by Jorginho. Just cushions a little side-footed volley to Partey. Quickly onto Ødegaard. Down the line here to Saka, just outside the Forest area on the right. They're double teaming on him, and there's Lodi to complete the clearance. Only as far as Partey, who knew where that was going. Jorginho on the ball for Arsenal inside the Nottingham Forest half. Every single outfield player now in the Nottingham Forest half. Aaron Ramsdale totally isolated away to our right. Nottingham Forest fans continue to sing and sing to support their team. Saka with a little dummy. Edge of the area, back to Trossard. Trossard surrounded by 3 red shirts. Space on the right. Partey's cross in, just beyond Saka. Headed away by Felipe. Gabriel bumps into Gibbs-White. Jorginho hits the shot. What's the referee going to give here?
It's one of those ones, it's very difficult to say if that was deliberate or not. If you're on the end of it, those ones hurt. Gabriel, not the first time he's left a bit on a player, and it's a 50-50 ball. To me, I've not seen it any more than the first time in front of us. I couldn't jump up and say, look, that was deliberate, that was horrible by Gabriel, but it's certainly that will have hurt Gibbs-White a good deal, maybe taking one in the face.
We'll get another look now. It's a clearing header to the edge of the box.
The ball's coming out to him, his eyes on the ball. It's horrible because Gibbs-White doesn't see him. He's turning round, he can't protect himself in any way. Just ran straight into his elbow.
Another change for Arsenal. Fabio Vieira, the young Portuguese, is going to come on for Leandro Trossard. Just talking about the sort of callousness of the Arsenal bench. 3 players on there today. Mauro Bandeira, Mario Cozier Dewberry and Ruel Walters, who was on the bench last week. All teenagers, 19, 17 and 18 respectively. Sitting amongst the Arsenal substitutes today. Delay in play at the moment. 5 Live and BBC Sounds here at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest 1, Arsenal 0. And I'm sure Manchester City fans listening intently, because if Arsenal lose this game, the title is Manchester City's once again. And I mean, a real period of dominance, Pat. If that, I mean, we know that is going to happen this season at some point. That's going to be 5 and 6 for City.
And you know, they look stronger now than maybe they've ever done. You know, obviously one of the best strikers, if not the best striker, probably the best striker in the world, who's still going to improve himself. He's now learning the game and the style of Manchester City even more. So you wouldn't be surprised if they win this one again. Has any team won 4 in a row? I don't think they have. You know, so
4 Premier Leagues in a row. I know Manchester United have done a couple of 4 in 5s, but I'm not sure about 4 in a row.
I don't think anyone has. No. So that would be a big one. You know, if they could do that, that would mean there's no argument. They are an exceptional historical side.
The other thing they'll be thinking about as well, of course, once they get the title wrapped up, if and when, is the potential treble. Manchester United in the FA Cup final, Inter Milan in the Champions League final. Game's back underway, so we can talk all about that at another time. Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage will want to discuss it on 6:06 tonight. Here is Danilo to Lodi, who shoots across goal but wide. Good couple of yards wide. Ramsdale got his angles right, but chances are coming on the counter here for Forest. And if they get a second goal, well, I can't see Arsenal coming back from that. Another Forest player now down, just trying to run the clock down, we think.
Well, possibly so. They're going to make a substitution anyway. The players are often told just to go down to make sure the substitution gets made. And the player who is down, is he going to come off? Yes, yes.
He is indeed. Yeah, Danilo's coming off. Cheku Kouyaté is coming on. One of the many new signings this season. Danilo arrived in January from Palmeiras, and you can hear exactly what the City Ground think of his efforts. He scored some really important goals actually in recent weeks, particularly against Brighton and Southampton. Coming off the field now, he applauds the fans. They in turn roar their approval of him, and Cheku Kouyaté, who's a really experienced, hardened Premier League midfielder, comes on.
Yeah, you're looking there and you wonder when you bring Johnson on, you're thinking, no, just kill this game. No need to do anything extra special. You know, another player in that midfield is going to be hard-working, understands the game, closing down players, and to be polite about it, not pleasant to play against all the time.
Arsenal's season is fading away at the moment, trailing Nottingham Forest by 1-0. 18 minutes plus added time remaining. Here's Fabio Vieira down the line towards Tierney. Tierney's ball into Jesus, controls, gets it back to Tierney. Tierney is forced onto his right foot, works it back onto his left, finds Jesus outside him again. Jesus zips it back to Gabriel, to Jorginho. They exchange a 1-2. Nottingham Forest again shepherd them away from goal.
Great defending, eh? The way they were set up there, they know exactly what they've done. And you've got to look at the manager there. You know, they know how to defend. They know they're not going to get a lot of the ball for periods of the game, but so far they have defended so well for us.
Tierney's ball down the left to Jesus. Jesus twisting and turning. Worrell sticking with him. Jesus back to Jorginho. Cross here to White for Arsenal. Now Partey. Incredible noise inside the City Ground from the home fans once again. Ødegaard to Saka. Saka on the right, just outside the area. Arsenal still trying to find a way through. Ødegaard's ball in. Aurier with a diving header away at the far post. Next header finds a One-Year accidentally handballed that. Ødegaard tries to win it for Arsenal. That will be a free kick though for the visitors.
It's very noticeable that the fans got up there just when they were put under pressure. The fans reacted exactly the way they should do. Got behind the team, made sure they concentrated.
Ødegaard's ball to Nketiah. Back out wide, Arsenal go. Here's Ødegaard again. Left-footed curling pass comes back to Gabriel. Nottingham Forest holding firm at the moment, but you can feel the tension building in the stands around us. A win means they're definitely safe. A draw, it's going to go to the final day of the season. Tierney trying to bundle his way into the penalty area. Looks to win a 50-50. Ryan Yates is there. Tierney, I think, caught him. He's had another go at him, and that will now be a free kick to Nottingham Forest.
But it has added something to the left-hand side, hasn't it, Tierney coming up? I mean, at least he's showing a little bit of fight, and a little bit of dig there. Him along with certainly Jorginho, he's shown a little bit. There's been too many Arsenal players that haven't done. And you look at Forest, and they've been so clever at this season. You know, you're 1-0 and you've brought in defensive midfielder, and you think, okay, let's sit with that. No, we get Johnson, we get him ready and say, okay, we think we can break there.
I think it's brilliant our listeners can hear this wherever you're listening to us on 5 Live and BBC Sounds this evening, this atmosphere, because if Nottingham Forest do stay up and they achieve this today, Pat, it's an obvious thing to say, but these supporters inside this ground, anyone who's been here this season supporting this team, has played an enormous part in that.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. I mean, having said that, the Arsenal fans have been brilliant for their team, you know, home as well, but they knew they had to do this. They waited a while for it to happen. They weren't going to let this go, and their attitude has been absolutely exemplary in here.
Nottingham Forest winning every single free kick at the moment, getting to every loose ball first. Mangala this time is tripped inside the Arsenal half. 15 minutes remaining plus added time. Nottingham Forest 15 minutes from safety. Manchester City 15 minutes from the Premier League title. They will be able to celebrate that tonight. We will be there at the Etihad Stadium tomorrow for full commentary of Manchester City against Chelsea. But in terms of winning the title, that game might be totally irrelevant. Free kick then for Nottingham Forest, attacking the Bridgeford end. Spine-tingling noise inside this stadium once more. Gibbs White delivery. Headed away to the left.
He's given it again.
Taylor's given an off-the-ball foul in there. It's going to be a free kick to Arsenal.
How many times has that happened? Honestly,
5 or 6, yeah.
It's incredible, you know. And, you know, he seems to know where the problem's going to be. So he's not watching the ball come in. The referee's doing it. And he's seen more than I'm seeing. So well done him. That's why they're top-class referees. But there's no great complaints from Forest there. They need to stop that, because it was a great ball in and they could have attacked it instead of fouling.
Willie Bolly and Brennan Johnson getting ready to come on for Nottingham Forest. I was just thinking about the welcome that Steve Cooper got onto the pitch ahead of the game today. Nottingham Forest win this game Blimey.
Oh, they'll be as if they've won the league, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's exactly how it will feel. They'll be, going round, they'll be bringing the families on, you name it, they'll be celebrating.
As if they've won the league. Manchester City are going to win the league if Forest win the game, but it'll be as if Nottingham Forest have won the league. You're absolutely right. Pat Nevin with us at the City Ground, but still work for Nottingham Forest to do. Arsenal still trying. They've lost the ball on the edge of the Forest box. I think they might have conceded another foul. Advantage is played. Forest bring it up towards Awoniyi, then the ball is driven forward. Oh wow, what a touch and turn from Morgan Gibbs-White, sliding in to control the ball on the volley, picked himself up in the same movement, got away from Gabriel. Gabriel's been given a yellow card for the challenge, and Gabriel's now losing his cool. That was stunning skill from Gibbs-White.
Gabriel's been yellow carded, has he?
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting.
Yeah, and he's still not happy. Tempers are boiling over.
It's Morgan Gibbs-White. That take, by the way.
Wow.
How good was that? He had no chance of getting to the ball. He not only got to it, he controlled it, dragged it away from a top quality player, and got that player booked for dragging him back. Honestly, magnificent play. And again, attitude-wise, fighting-wise, giving everything you've got. Of course, every player should do that, but they've been so far ahead today in that sphere, Nottingham Forest, and it is the reason why they are now currently 1-0 and currently looking like staying in the Premier League.
Yeah, 12 minutes plus added time remaining. Awoniyi's coming off, the goal scorer. 5 goals in his last 3 games. Have a listen to this. Fans in the Peter Taylor stand all around us get to their feet, and the same goes for the other 3 stands around the ground. Taiwo Awoniyi could be the man whose goal keeps Nottingham Forest in the Premier League today.
Yeah, and everything he's given, and he didn't stop. He kept on going right to the end. And generally, he's 1 against 3. But there's been times when he's outnumbered them 1 against 3, which is saying quite a lot against quality defenders.
So Felipe comes off to be replaced by Willy Bolly. Brennan Johnson comes on to replace Awoniyi. Time continues to tick away. 11 minutes plus added time remaining. That's how close Nottingham Forest are to safety. That's how close these Nottingham Forest fans are to a wild night of celebration in the city of Nottingham. Free kick for them. Lodi. High one into the Arsenal penalty area. Chested down by Jesus. Thumps the ball away. Vieira nudged to the floor, it looked like, by Gibbs-White. Aurier bringing the ball forward. Still going for Nottingham Forest. Has it wide on the right. Tierney's back there. Blocks it. Doesn't go behind for the corner, and Tierney swings a left leg at it and clears it up towards the halfway line. Bolly heads it forward. Jesus has lost it for Arsenal here. Ryan Yates is onto it for Nottingham Forest. Happy to take that down towards the corner flag. Wins a throw. Everything that goes Nottingham Forest way, you know what reaction you're going to get.
Yeah, you do. Bolly won 4 tackles in a row there. He was second favourite for them all. And that's it. That absolutely sums up what we've seen so far. It means more to them. It means everything to them. And they're winning every tackle. And the opposition players against them, they're not able to do that. They're not willing to do that today. Not yet. And I keep on saying, not yet. You just never know.
Into the last 10 minutes we go. Long throw from Niakate into the box. Clear to the edge of the area. The ball's hit the referee. Arsenal want to keep going. No, the ref's got to stop the game. Arsenal were breaking away with Vieira and Saka. The referee is going to bring it back.
He has to bring it back because it was not clear who the ball was going to go to either. So it was a difficult one, not the referee's fault. Couldn't get out of the way of it. Arsenal want to carry on quickly.
Thank you, Pat. Andy Giddings, our producer, will be doing the post-match interviews. You'll catch those in 6:06. He's just reminded me here, it'll be a 5th title in 6 seasons for Manchester City in the Premier League era. Only Manchester United between 1996 and 2001 have done that, 5 in 6. And that was the Manchester United team, of course, in 99 that won the treble that Manchester City are trying to repeat. Saka has now been penalised for a foul. Lodi went down, was picking himself up, has now gone down again, is rolling around. Arsenal are getting incredibly frustrated. But Pat, I mean, you said it in the first half. Nottingham Forest have just had so much more to play for today, and it is just told in their performance level, hasn't it?
And the amount of times that happens in games, you know, everyone thinks, a team for the bottom of the league against a team for the top of the league. But if it means everything to you, professional football, there's a gap between certain teams and other teams in quality. But when you put that amount of energy, effort, fight into it, it not only equalises it, it gives you an advantage.
Yeah, go back to the Emirates Stadium in October. Arsenal absolutely wiped the floor with Nottingham Forest by 5-0. Totally different story this evening. And if Arsenal do lose, it's going to be 9 points from their last 8 games. Manchester City have taken a perfect 21 from their last 7. They've just been a winning machine, and Arsenal haven't been able to live with it. So Manchester City's celebrations could be on the way. They will be not in front of us here at the City Ground, but obviously you'll get reaction after the match. 6:06 tonight, 08085 909 693 is the number to dial, and also in the Football Daily podcast, available on the BBC Sounds app. 8 minutes plus added time to go.
Well, 8 minutes from the new champions, but 8 minutes also for Nottingham Forest, and I thought their fans would get nervy. Not feeling it yet.
No, I totally agree, Pat. Here's Ødegaard to Vieira, back to Gabriel. Nottingham Forest have held Arsenal out comfortably so far. Still work to do. There'll be tired legs out there and tired minds. Got to keep concentrating. Tierney's going to take Aurier on for pace on the outside. Tries to beat him, hits the cross, and it goes behind for a goal kick. Another decision going Nottingham Forest way, and Kieran Tierney, holding the ball in both hands, smacks it into the ground in frustration, holds on to it, and then gives referee Anthony Taylor a sarcastic thumbs up to say good decision, ref.
We're not in a brilliant position. It's, the ball's hidden from us there, but I still think the referee got it right. I think he got it spot on there. Big call there, because Arsenal would love to have got a corner kick there. As it is, Forest get a chance to clear.
Joe Worrell does that with his right foot. Another minute's gone in the game. 7 minutes plus added time remaining. Nottingham Forest 1, Arsenal 0. West Ham are safe. Nottingham Forest with the win will be safe. Leeds, if they win tomorrow away at West Ham, who, as I said, are already safe, would move out of the bottom 3. They would be on 34 points. And Everton would drop in on 33. Everton at home to Bournemouth on the final day of the season next weekend. Leeds at home to Tottenham. Leicester at home to West Ham. Here's Gabriel on the ball for Arsenal. Gabriel with his left foot kills it towards Nketiah. Nketiah lays it back to Jorginho, who has to go back to Gabriel. Gabriel quickly forward to Vieira again, lays it off to Tierney. Tierney looking for the run of Nketiah, bumped off it by Bolly. Bolly tries to leave it for Worrell, couldn't find him. Here's Vieira, curling cross, stretching catch from Keylor Navas. Another big roar from the Nottingham Forest fans.
Yep, he's got that well done. Just a little bit of nervousness in the back line there for the first time. I think Worrell was thinking of putting his boot through it there and thought, if I don't get to the ball first, I'll give away a penalty kick. So he stood off, and sometimes it's intelligent not to make the tackle, not to take a chance. The cross came in there, but well done, Navas. Looked very comfortable there, didn't he?
Navas.
By the way, we're getting to see one or two little faces beginning to get nervy, the odd fingernail being bitten.
Yeah, sunny day, but a couple of very pale faces and anxious looks. Arsenal free kick this time, just inside their own half. Ødegaard's trying to get hold of the ball. Brennan Johnson's trying to stop him. Gabriel Jesus has picked it up. It's getting scrappy. That will suit Nottingham Forest.
Yep, Arsenal by a player down injured, and that's the last thing they want just now. His teammates are saying, "Are you okay?" i.e., get off if you can. Could really do with that. Is it Vieira that's gone down?
Yeah, Fabio Vieira sort of fell onto the back of the boots of one of the Nottingham Forest players and has taken a whack in his chest there, just below his throat.
They don't need that. What they need to do is keep on the momentum, giving the Forest players a little bit of time here, give them a little bit of a rest, and just give them a little bit of help, because they turn around to each other and say, right, get yourself steady, work together, and don't give any more chances away. And they've given very few away in this game, very few.
5 minutes remaining plus added time. Nottingham Forest 1, Arsenal 0. If Arsenal were to get the equaliser, Forest would then be on 35 points, Everton on 33, Leeds on 31 with the game in hand, Leicester on 30 with the game in hand. Leicester at Newcastle on Monday night. Updates on that one into the Monday Night Club. All eyes, though, fixed on this pitch here at the City Ground, and a momentous 5 minutes or so for Nottingham Forest here and Manchester City there.
The thing is that the fans here don't look as nervous, but any Nottingham Forest fans listening,
when you can't see it,
4 minutes plus injury time to safety. It's going to be a long 4 minutes plus injury time.
Tell me where the ball is. I'll tell you where it is. It's at the foot of Thomas Partey, midway inside the Nottingham Forest half. Rolls it across to Jorginho. Gabriel is making a run forward. Gabriel receives it. Tierney on the outside finds Saka. Saka to Jesus, looking for Saka again inside the penalty area. Red shirts around him, tackle on him by Aurier. Aurier is a real brick of a player, comes running away with the ball. Jesus tried to nudge him off it. Jorginho in with a challenge. Assistant referee's got the sun in his eyes and has decided to give Arsenal a throw. Steve Cooper can't believe it. Leaps in the air in dismay and disbelief at the decision. Arsenal throw. Nottingham Forest have got to get back and get organised. Still they lead 1-0.
Everything feels personal at this point in time if you're the manager.
Jorginho wide to Tierney. Tierney's cross into the penalty area, headed away by Worrell. Might fall to Jorginho, it does. Takes it past Yates. Jesus makes a sneaky little run down the left. He slips as he tries to get the cross in. That sums it up for Arsenal today. Behind for the goal kick. It could be Nottingham Forest day.
Well, apart from the goal, that is the biggest roar they've had today. Yeah, they knew they were under pressure. I think the Forest fans are a bit miffed with Gabriel Jesus anyway. It completely just slips when he's in a great position to put a cross on the left hand side, got himself into a good position, and it rolls away another minute and a half.
Decibel levels go through the roof once again. Manchester City are closing in on another Premier League title. Nottingham Forest are closing in on another season in the Premier League, which at the start of the season is what it was all about for them. Gibbs-White thought he might have been fouled. Here come Arsenal again. They have just been hammering away at a Nottingham Forest brick wall throughout this entire game. Steve Cooper cool enough there just to stand in the sunshine and take a slurp of water, although possibly the calm exterior betrays a very nervous interior. Ben White bringing it forward, 89th minute of the game. Forest 1, Arsenal 0. Saka looks for Ødegaard. Ødegaard trying to unpick the lock again. Referee jumps out of the way of the pass to Gabriel. Gabriel to Jorginho. Jorginho's got Ben White to his right. White just delays the pass, goes wide to Partey. Saka starts to make a run, but it's Ødegaard who gets it. Saka trying to get onto it in the penalty area. Here's Nketiah, lines up the shot. No, it won't count. There was a foul in there as Saka stretched to get the ball. He caught Ryan Yates. Yates is down. Free kick, Nottingham Forest.
And again, massive relief. And of course, if you listened to 5 Live earlier in the day, you would have heard 8s, 9s, 10 minutes worth of injury time, and this is now what we're looking forward to. There's about a minute left in natural time, normal time, but just a little nick there for Saka. There's not a great deal in it though, but the referee spotted it, and deep breaths all around, and then he starts shouting again.
90th minute of the game, fans on their feet. Any of them who have scarves are twirling them around furiously. An incredible sight at the City Ground. They're leading Arsenal by a goal to 0, and they are trying to drag their team across the line because they also desperately want another season of Premier League football. It will leave 2 from 3 in the relegation issue. Here's Morgan Gibbs-White, edge of the box, ball just gets away from him. He manages to get it back. Oh, great skills, right-footed shot straight at Ramsdale. That would have sealed the deal.
That would have sealed the deal. Would have got one of the best goals of the season. His work rate, his play and his skill was phenomenal.
Gabriel Jesus got the ball from Ramsdale. It was Gibbs-White who came hurtling back and tackled him, and he celebrated as if he'd scored a goal.
You can't help but love the effort. 7's the right number, that's what I was going to go for.
7 minutes of added time. Nottingham Forest fans listening to us on 5 Live and BBC Sounds are not going to be enjoying that. Forest 1, Arsenal 0. 6:06 on the way. Lines open, 08085 909 693. So much to talk about tonight. Tierney with a bit of skill. Did he keep that ball in? No, he didn't. Throw in for Nottingham Forest in the right back position.
Yeah, 7 minutes does seem a huge amount of time. And the other thing, it doesn't matter how much effort you put in and how up for it you are, you will get tired. There will be very tired legs out there. I've just spotted Yates going down there a little bit, just to give himself a little bit of a rest. Forest players will try anything now to get any sort of rest between now and the end of the game.
Stopwatch is absolutely crucial now. Almost a minute of the 7 minutes of added time has been played. So Nottingham Forest have managed a 7th of it so far, of what they need to get through now, of this last little bit of the game.
The Manchester City fans, don't uncork them yet.
Don't uncork them just yet, but they'll be ready to go as well. Nader Manua, if Manchester City win the title, will be waiting to join us. Jesus onside, gets to the ball first inside the penalty area, nearly clipped by Aurier. Here's Jesus down by the byline, lays it back. Tierney completely miscues, might turn into a pass to Ødegaard. Vieira's in the way of Ødegaard. Red shirts everywhere. Partey stretches to try and get it to Saka. Saka's tackled. Yates is over there on the left, clears. Gibbs White will chase. And now it's Brennan Johnson trying to get past Ben White. Ben White sticking with him. Ben White goes down. Free kick for Arsenal inside their own half.
Oh, Johnson was trying to get a chance there, 1-on-1, just to get his legs going a little bit. But that was very good play by Ben White. He made sure he couldn't get any pace off again. And Arsenal have it again. Next wave.
The men in black shirts, Arsenal in change kit, come pouring forward. Doesn't really matter to them now if they get the equaliser. Manchester City, even with an Arsenal draw here, will effectively be champions. But there's professional pride at stake here.
Actually, it's been better now, though, isn't it, for Arsenal? They have lifted it a bit.
They have. Jorginho out to the left, but they're up against a wall of sound as well here, which is resounding around the City ground. Curling ball into the box, bounces once, Navas is there.
No shock that the goalkeeper catches it and goes to ground in the time-honoured fashion as they do. Just trying to ruin another couple of seconds.
Steve Cooper started the pacing. He's gone pacing towards Graham Scott, and he's got up to him and said, how long? I can tell you, Steve, we have had 2.5 minutes of the 7 minutes of added time.
Yep.
4.5 to go.
How soon is not now? It's another 5 minutes, mate.
Oh, if they get there, the noise on the final whistle is just going to be sensational. So, Arsenal waiting to take a throw. Gabriel looking to get the ball back from some Nottingham Forest fans. And we have got 4 minutes. 4 minutes remaining. If it stays like this, Nottingham Forest stay up, Manchester City are champions. Ødegaard very deep for Arsenal. Plays it to Ben White. Ben White's ball looking for Tierney over the top. Aurier is there. Oh, he's clever. Aurier knocks it into Tierney. Behind it goes for a Nottingham Forest goal kick.
I would love to know if he meant to do that. I'd like to give him it because Aurier has been absolutely superb today. But it looks to me as if he just tried to put it out of play for a corner with his knee, with no pace at all. But it's hit Tierney and he's got himself a goal kick. Another 30 seconds.
Yep. Heading towards just 3 minutes to play. 3 minutes and 15 seconds according to my stopwatch remaining. Anthony Taylor says, come on, let's get the game back underway. Joe Worrell clears with his right foot, sprints upfield. Johnson flicks it on. Gabriel is there, closed down by Gibbs White. Play back to Aaron Ramsdale. And now we have 3 minutes, just 3 minutes remaining. Ben White to Fabio Vieira. Nottingham Forest keeping the clean sheet intact. If they can manage that for 3 more minutes of football, they're staying up. And it'll be down to Everton, Leeds and Leicester. Only one of those will survive. The other two will go down. Here's Ben White. Ben White plays it forward to Vieira. Incredible support again, pours down from the stands here at the City ground. Arsenal passing it around but not hurting Nottingham Forest at the moment. 2.5 minutes to go. Here's Ødegaard, always the danger man, lines up the shot, Skidder, it's wide. Goal kick for Nottingham Forest.
Can't blame them for having a go. Nothing else has worked. They've tried to play through the middle. They're going down the left time and again here. There doesn't seem any physicality in the centre there, so you put high balls in, they're being gobbled up by their centre back. So yeah, have a go for 25 yards. A couple of tries so far. No one's really endangered the goal. So at the moment, very few shots on target. And 2 minutes to go.
2 minutes, Pat. 2 minutes and counting. Hang in there, Nottingham Forest fans. Hang in there, Manchester City fans. You very nearly won the title. And Nottingham Forest have very nearly secured their survival. Referee there wasn't happy with where the ball was for the goal kick. Stopped his watch, started it again. So I think we're still at 2 minutes. Joe Worrell's going to go again and take the goal kick. And again, he sprints downfield towards the halfway line. Gabriel heads it away for Arsenal. Kouyaté lobs it forward. Ben White gets a touch. Plays back to Ramsdale. Almost counting down in seconds now. 80 seconds remaining in the game. That's how close Nottingham Forest are to staying up. It'll be a fabulous achievement, and this today will be another fabulous win. Last 2 home games they've beaten Brighton and Southampton. Today it's Arsenal. Arsenal still come though. 60 seconds remaining. Manchester City 1 minute away from the title as Jorginho plays the ball through to Jesus. They're not going to get through that way. Still they come, Arsenal. Here's Partey. Partey looks up, looks for an option, sees Ødegaard to his right, Played back to Partey again. Gives it to Ødegaard. Nottingham Forest just giving it everything to cover every single blade of grass. Ben White on the ball now. 40 seconds remaining. Here's Vieira. Vieira brings it in from the left. Challenge on him from Aurier. Referee wants to play an advantage. Jorginho to Ødegaard. Ødegaard outside of the foot finds Saka. Wide to Partey. Partey lays it back to Saka. Corner of the box. Cross comes into the far post. And Navas comes and claims it with both hands. And an almighty roar emits from all four stands at the City Ground.
Did that sound like a goal? Anyone listen there must have thought, was a goal scored there? No, the goalkeeper just got it in the back post. He's gone down injured. He's been injured for a long time. I don't think he's acting there because he hasn't been taking the goal kicks. We are now officially into injury time on injury time.
Yes, the minimum amount is up of 7 minutes of added time. We are that close to Nottingham Forest getting the win, to Nottingham Forest staying up for another season, to Manchester City being crowned champions of England. The singing here is for Nottingham Forest. It's been an incredible afternoon.
It is, but I mean, just looking at the way Navas reacted there, he actually might not be able to carry on. You know, he may have to come off at this point in time, which is a real concern for him because he's been injured. You know, he's injured very early in the game and he survived this far. But he was stretching. He's looked so good when he's had to go and collect those crosses. He has not missed one.
He's on his feet, but he's moving very, very awkwardly. I think, Pat, we had about 10 seconds left to play when he caught that ball. So we are literally going to restart the game.
Well, I'd say 10 seconds plus 30 injury time. Because I think there was a little bit of waste of time before that, wasn't it?
Right.
I'd say and they will make the goalkeeping change.
Nottingham Forest fans are on their feet. All the substitutes and the players that have been subbed are on their feet. They are waiting to pour onto the field. Change is made. Wayne Hennessy comes on for Nottingham Forest, possibly just to clear a ball downfield, to hear a final whistle, and then watch everyone go berserk.
You want to be on the pitch in the big moments in history in a club that you're at. Well, he is on the pitch, Hennessy now.
6:06 is on the way. 08085 909 693. Manchester City fans will want to hear from you. Nottingham Forest fans will certainly want to hear from you. A couple of things very shortly in this football season 2022-23 about to be decided. Arsenal have put up a brilliant fight in this title race. It's all over. Nottingham Forest survived. Manchester City, once again, the champions of England. All we can see around us at the City Ground is a sea of smiling red. They are going to be painting the town red in Nottingham tonight. The 1-0 win over Arsenal means it doesn't go until the final day, means that Steve Cooper has pulled it off, and Nottingham Forest will be playing Premier League football again next season. And further away from here, further north up the country, Manchester City once again will be celebrating a Premier League title. They will play tomorrow against Chelsea with the job done. They've done it with 3 games to spare. They have been too good once again for everyone in the land. And it's a 5th title in 6 seasons. It is the first step of a potential treble. But here at the City Ground, this is all about survival, and this is all about Nottingham Forest.
And you know what? They cared. Everybody cared around here. The players, you could see everyone for every single minute, cared so much. But look at the people and listen to the people around us and the noise. And it's not just today, it's not just this moment. Plenty of other moments when they've got behind the team and pushed them and pulled them and dragged them over the line. They are over the line now, and you cannot argue against the fact that Nottingham Forest deserve to be in this Premier League next season. Well done to them, and to be fair, I did see them celebrate if they win the league, but they haven't quite won the league. Who has?
Manchester City have won the title, Pat Nevin. They've won the title once again. We're going to speak to Neda Manua, former Manchester City player, in just a second. 6:06, lines are open. Chris and Robbie will be with you shortly. 08085 909 693 is the number to dial. We are going to keep an eye on the celebrations of the Nottingham Forest players and fans here at the City Ground. It's now going to be 2 from 3. West Ham are safe. Nottingham Forest are safe. It's out of Everton, Leeds and Leicester. 2 of those teams will go down. But Manchester City are celebrating another title. The Arsenal players have disappeared very quickly down the tunnel.